Hey listeners, it's Amon from Dub Talk. Before we start the episode proper, we just wanted to drop a little additional disclaimer here. During this episode, we briefly discuss a voice actor named Ulrich Guardiola. He was charged with sexual assault in the mid-2010s, and, he's not a great guy. We do briefly discuss his performance in this show, but we did want to give people a heads up that he'll be mentioned, and this segment comes up about an hour and a half into the episode, and it lasts, keep it short, it's only about 3 minutes long. If you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a time code then that you can skip to if you don't want to listen to it, and if you're listening to this in audio format, there should be a time code in the description that you can use. If you don't want to listen to it, just skip ahead, it's not very long. We just wanted to give you a heads up before you start listening to the episode proper. Thanks for listening, enjoy the show. Dearest Mother, I have completed my enrollment at Dubtalk High School, and I've already started making friends and learning about the subjects in my new curriculum. Did you know that the Dubtalk podcast may contain language and content that may not be suitable for younger audiences, and that listener discretion is advised? And that the listener should please be aware that there will be spoilers for Cromartie High School, so they may want to watch it first if they haven't yet? And that finally, the opinions expressed belong to those of the individual participants and do not reflect the Dubtalk podcast as a whole? It's been a very educational experience so far. However, I do have one small complaint. It appears that the people who attend this school are delinquents, and frankly, they scare me, and I'm kind of freaking out. I must remind myself to not imitate anything my classmates do, especially the one who ate all of my pencils. That would be a bad idea. Vomiting up wood pulp it's not pleasant from the looks of it. I would not recommend it. It's a bad idea. Hello, Internet Denizens. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Dub Talk, where a bunch of nerds talk about the latest and greatest in anime dubs. Although not latest for today's episode, because it's a special episode, because it's my birthday.
Yay!
Well, it'll technically be my birthday in 2 hours, but, close enough.
By the time we're done with this, you will probably have passed the marker, which you're turning 12?
31.
Ah, close.
So 12.
Congratulations.
Boy, I shouldn't have bought all that beer then. That's illegal.
Just don't go for Windex. We've discovered that's a terrible idea on this podcast.
I think it's time we upgrade.
Only villains do that.
Only villains do that.
Only villains drink Windex.
What have you been getting up to when I'm not here? Oh boy. Alright. Tonight, it is my birthday. Huzzah. And for our birthday episode, I wanted to pick a show that's very near and dear to my heart. I saw it when I was but a young boy, and most of my anime watching was just whatever was on cable, and occasionally things that popped up on demand, because I didn't actually get the anime channel back in the day. Woe was me. But there was something I did find on demand. It was a very odd little show about a bunch of delinquents who do very little in the way of actual delinking. Yes, that's right, we're talking about the Smash 2004 hit, Cromartie High School. The strangest show you've ever seen. Joining me tonight on this weird little excursion, we have Megan.
Dearest Patrick, I am writing you from Dubtalk High School. People here are kind of strange, and frankly, it's freaking me out.
Andrew.
I'm sorry. You should learn to take care of yourself better. Think of your mother when you go off into battle right now. Listen to my soothing voice, 'cause it's totally human and not mechanical at all.
Totally not a prince in disguise.
Shut up, we're getting to that later.
And Noah.
Hello, my name is Noah Clue. I'm 16 years old, and I have motion sickness. But that's okay, because we're not recording this on a houseboat. Although that would have been pretty badass. And all I wanted to do was to be the biggest badass of the entire Dub Talk podcast. And I don't know why I started talking like Kevin from The Office now.
I was like, Spaceman Hardy, is that you?
Will you note, everyone, when you are trying to do this voice, do not try to eat your tongue at the same time. It won't come out well. I'm sorry,
Kevin
Mr.
the guy-
Editor.
I've never seen The Office. Is Kevin the it's hentai and it's art guy?
No, that is not Kevin.
that's-
Kevin's the one who spills his chili.
Kevin,
Okay.
the big guy.
He's the big bald
Spills
guy
his chili.
who spills his chili.
Poor
All
guy.
I know about The Office is you miss 99% of the shots you don't take, Michael Scott, and it's hentai and it's art.
Yep.
And I, of course, am Amon. And we're joined by a special guest on this episode. And by special guest, I mean the little plush of Mekazawa I bought at some point that's now sitting on my desk. Hello!
Mekareka.
Hecka.
Oh man, I should definitely get another one of these and make it into a beta Mekazawa. That'd be great.
Honestly, you should get a cell phone covering that's just Mekazawa's little brother.
Amon, please tell me
That should
after
be my ringtone.
please tell me after this you're taking that plushie and strapping it to a motorcycle.
Vroom, vroom.
I would have to get a motor. Now,
Yeah,
let's
you
not
live in
talk
Boston.
about the best
It's
part of the show
you
yet.
live in Boston. It's the plague. You should be able to procure one of those. We'll need it when
No,
we'll need it one day when we take off when we have to go get our water back from the fucking giant fat man who wants to impregnate women.
For all listeners out there, do not pillage motorcycles during this crisis. Don't ever pillage motorcycles. That's not.
Don't listen to Noah. Don't be a pussy. Steal a motorcycle.
It took me longer than I care to admit to recognize the Mad Max reference. I'm sorry.
Don't be like Andrew. Get your Mad Max Fury Road references right.
Oh boy,
Naka.
That's bait. So
fun times.
Now you said that this is something that you watched. You saw this show on cable television, Amon?
Well, technically, back in the day, ADV had a specialty cable channel they'd set up. Now I didn't get that, but my parents did have Comcast On Demand, which did have listings for their stuff on it, even though we didn't get that channel specifically. So I saw there's a bunch of weird stuff I saw the first 3 to 5 episodes of because they'd be on there, and usually I'd miss some. They'd cycle out occasionally.
And this wasn't even like in the old days where you could only see a scrambled version of it, right? Like this was actually not even accessible.
No, I think it wasn't in my market,
right?
Basically, yeah. No, it didn't exist straight up. I think I would even need to have it wasn't there.
Okay.
So couldn't watch it. So sad. That's something I was going to ask you. Had any of you seen this before? I'm sure you've seen clips of it. Did you ever watch it all the way through?
No, I'd never watched it all the way through. I've seen the clip from the very beginning of the first episode thanks to my boyfriend who uses it in our panel, and it fucking kills me every time. I have a bunch of friends who live down in the Sarasota area of Florida who are named Emmy, Doug, and Vince, and they have a hysterical story about Cromartie, which is that one day they decided to just watch 8 episodes of it in a row without knowing what it was.
Oh dear.
And they apparently had sat there in silence the entire time through these first 8 or so episodes. And then they stopped, I guess, to eat or something. And they all just kind of sat there for a minute and then just burst into hysterical laughter.
Okay, that's pretty great.
Delayed laughter reaction.
I had never seen it all the way through until, finishing it last night at, 2 in the morning.
That sounds like the appropriate reaction to Cromartie.
My only experience with the show was seeing various clips, and by various clips, I mean seeing images of Freddy, as well as watching the "he ate my pencil" scene.
Yeah, I've seen enough AMV Hell to have seen Cromartie clips, out of context, in a sense.
Because they're so in context when you watch the show, aren't they?
True. But, just to show you how old at least Amon, Noah, and I are, that I've seen almost every AMV Hell as they came out.
Oh, wow. Back in the good old days before YouTube became evil and terrible.
There's one where it's not everyone can be Freddie Mercury as one to Cromartie. there's a lot of really good just AMV Hell clips. There's like a montage that somebody did the best of all time, and I made everybody watch it one time at A-Fest. And I was really sad because they didn't actually put one of my all-time favorite clips in it, which is, spoiler alerts for anybody who has never seen Blood Plus. Which I think I know Noah has.
I've seen bits of it. Probably not the part you're going to reference.
I've not seen Blood Plus, so...
Amon, have you ever seen it?
I think I've seen Blood Plus.
Okay, so if you've ever seen Blood Plus, like... Or if you've... this is a weird tangent. If you've never seen Blood Plus before, the very first shots of the show are of the lead character ripping through a village in Nam.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
You know, as one does.
Yeah.
And there's a part later where she goes undercover at, like, a school in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And she's walking through a Vietnam War museum, and then she gets a flashback to, like, her ripping through a village in Nam. And there's just an AMV Hell clip with, like, this little girl's voice that goes, "You're never too young for a Vietnam flashback." And it's real. If you've never seen AMV Hell, it is absolutely fucked up and a product of the early 2000s.
Oh boy.
The show
Like-
is very much a product of the early 2000s.
Boy, is it!
AMV Hell is the Cromartie High School of AMVs.
You're not wrong.
Put that on the back of the box. That is a quote for the critics.
I'm not wrong. It really fucking is.
It is.
If the
I was
show,
writing a paper
if the show
on
ever
the
gets a
computer,
blue,
and it was like beep 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 beep.
if the show ever gets a Blu-ray, I could just imagine Cromartie High School is the AMV hell of anime.
Right?
Discotech.
Put
if
that
you're
on the
watching
box, Discotech.
feel free to take that one for free.
Just tell us that you've licensed Monster. You can have that fucker for free.
Yep.
I thought you were.
If you haven't licensed Monster, you need to pay us $5.
Honestly, that whole AMV comparison is kind of why I had the show at a distance for a while, because I'd seen some bits of it. I'd seen the first couple of episodes. I think someone was streaming it once, back in our old days, back before streaming was legitimate and legal, and I kind of didn't like it, because I was in that age where I wanted shows that were deep and thought-provoking and artistic-based, and this was the antithesis of that. Cromartie is not... Okay, it can be deep, but it's not upfront deep or artistic at all. And so I really didn't want to watch the rest of it. I kind of lumped it in the same category as my absolute least liked show, which is, unfortunately, Pawnee Pony Dash. Having rewatched this, though, I don't hold it as much ire as I did. In fact, I think I've circled back around, I think, to liking it now. So this will be the first time watching it all the way through. So thank you, Amon, for that very much. This was a good excuse to shatter my 10-year-old perceptions of this show.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Amon.
Thanks, Amon.
You're very welcome. I'm not surprised you had that reaction, because on reflection, that the show got as popular as it did feels odd, because especially on rewatching it, this show feels very niche.
There are even celebrities who are excited for it.
Except for the one who tried to sue them, apparently.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Was it fucking Brian May?
No. Cromartie High School is named after a baseball player named Warren Cromartie who played in Japanese baseball leagues in the 80s, and I found I will note, completely uncited source on Wikipedia, so this could be complete nonsense. But apparently, so according to this, he apparently tried to sue them because he didn't like his name being associated with a show about delinquents or something.
Honestly,
Again, could be bullshit. Don't know.
people have sued for far less.
I'm surprised it wasn't Brian May.
Why would he sue? He's not the one in it.
Exactly, that's why.
I mean, have you seen, like, John Lennon sue for any depictions of... No, wait, no, I'm sorry. I've seen Paul McCartney sue for depictions of John Lennon in anything in the past.
I was gonna say...
One, Yoko Ono would do that.
Yoko Ono would, yes.
I don't think so, no.
Freddie didn't have a Yoko. That we know of.
That we know of.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Freddie Mercury's personal life. Anyways.
You're getting off track.
Better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Which, in fairness, is very appropriate for this show. But...
No, it's not that hard to be better than the movie Bohemian Rhapsody. Rocket Man proved that.
That is a bar that is nailed to the ground.
Which Taron Egerton fucking jumped over in a rocket fucking ship.
speaking of production, before you
Shut up and watch Rocket Man. It's such a good movie.
I'd just rather listen to Elton John's greatest hits and call that good, but I'll take your word for it.
It's a great fucking movie.
The one thing I want to say on production side, and I'm sorry, Amon, you can take us from here, but the one thing I want to say is that this anime was produced by Production IG in between 2003 and 2004, at the same time that they were producing, you'll never guess this, Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
I believe that a lot more than I was expecting to.
So,
Amon, should I tell them the thing I found out about the director?
Hey, go ahead.
So I was looking into the guy who directed this, and I found out that he did the direction of a series called La Petite Shoujo Cosette, which is essentially a fucking anime version of Les Mis.
Wait, La Petite Cosette? That's the Akiyuki Shimbo OVA, isn't it?
No, there's a full fucking series on it too.
Oh, I didn't. I've only seen the Genion released OVA with the weird Dutch angles and the oversaturated colors.
Hold on, I'm getting.
I believe you, but that. Oh my god.
Not the episode list. Just
look
there
down.
are in this show.
Look down before you go to jail. Look down.
There's a fucking gorilla in the class.
Dearest mother, the episode has gotten away from me. I don't know if I'm able to rein it back in before midnight.
Yeah, no. La Miserable Shoujo Cosette. I got the name fucking wrong.
Okay.
Alright.
But
that title makes more sense.
it is still a fucking anime version of Les Mis.
Okay.
That this guy directed, and I think that was like... Okay, no, it wasn't the next thing he directed right after this. He also did the direction of, the Maid-sama anime and The Disastrous Life of Saiki K.
I can believe that.
Oh, that's why Digikura... That's fucking why Digikura keeps getting referenced in this show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Amon, I'm sorry. Please take that over.
No. It's good. But now... Production IG, we contain multitudes. Now that we've had our fun, let's get cracking. Let us start with our two very important people to this whole production: our ADR director and our scriptwriter. Scriptwriting chores were done by Kathleen Moynihan, who also wrote for other shows such as Air, Canon, and This Ugly Yet Beautiful World. And direction was done by the one, the only, Stephen Foster.
Holy shit, it's finally happening!
Oh, you don't mean Stephen Tits Jut Blood Cuss Motherfucking Foster, do you?
Yeah, yes, known for Super Milk Chan, Le Chevalier d'Aeon, High School of the Dead, and being the super villain of anime dubbing in like the late 2000s, early 20s.
Wait.
So much complaining about Stephen Foster when I was in college. It was astonishing.
Wait. Hang on.
There's no life.
He
You
did
don't have
one-
a lifeguard
he
at
did
your
one
podcast.
One good thing, like one amazing thing, and I think Megan knows what that dub was.
This isn't our first time talking Stephen Foster, is it?
I think
hell
it
yeah.
is.
We haven't talked about Ghost Stories yet. We haven't talked High School of the Dead. We haven't talked Penguin Drum.
Holy
for
shit!
good reasons.
This is our first Stephen Foster dub?
All right, everybody.
I mean,
Stephen Foster's breaking some hymens tonight.
I mean, in our defense, our episode listing tends to lean very recent, and he has been out of the industry for what, approaching a decade at this point?
Yeah, for a good fucking reason.
You're not wrong, but that's still surprising, and I guess... Okay.
And to any of you feeling bad out there, like, oh, we're dunking on a guy who dubbed things in a way we don't like. He himself has, like, been bad-mouthing the anime industry for a while, so he's not a good player at all, so don't feel bad about it.
Don't feel bad about us dunking on Stephen Foster. It's just like dunking on Stu Levy. It's a public service.
Oh.
Oof.
It's a public fucking service at this point.
Okay.
There's a quote for you.
So, how do you want to do this, Amon?
Who wants to start?
I'll go first, because I'm already
Go ahead,
hot.
Megan.
Oh, man, so I guess I'll talk about the script writing first, because talking about Stephen Foster's directing is gonna take the lion's share of this segment, and I don't want to put Kathleen Moynihan down. I think the dub does a fairly solid job. The only issue I have, and I'm gonna call this one on the directing more than the writing, because I think he had the final say. He would have the final say in this. The writing's fine. It's funny, but, like, I'm a person who doesn't actually find Cromartie High School, like, laugh out loud funny. It's very much more of a, I found this show oddly relaxing.
I can believe that.
This was like my Zen show. And I think that the dub was really funny, like, really well written. I think the wordplay in it worked pretty well. It didn't date itself too bad. And
Except for the one time.
Except for that one time. And anything it did date itself with was, I think, the show's own fault, not the script's fault. But, yeah, there's a reason that Stephen Foster doesn't fucking work in the industry anymore. And this show has, direction-wise, is all over the place. There are parts of it that are really good, there are parts of it that are just really, really weird and kind of lazy. There's a couple of stilted performances. And the reason I think I'm a little bit harder on this is that I know Amon and I both recently did an episode for Last Exile. And Last Exile came out, I think, around the same time as a dub that this did.
Yes.
And that has a... Oh yeah, no, you were there too.
Same cable network, too, in America.
Shit, I forgot you were there too, Noah. How could I forget one of the members of the Paw Patrol? I'm a fucking class traitor. Band of brothers we are not.
Oh, you know, I've lived until you've read some legitimate, not satire articles about people accusing Paw Patrol of being about class traitors. These fucking dogs, they serve the man, and they this is such an awful post, but I love all dogs go to heaven except for all the traitors in the Paw Patrol. It's like one of my favorite memes. I'm sorry, I'm awful. But, like, these both ran on G4 Tech TV. Like, this dub does not hold up as well as, like, Last Exile, which was a really fucking polished product.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say that's a thing about the show.
Yeah.
And you could. But, like, there are other comedy dubs from ADV from that era that hold up really well. Like, I think Azumanga Daioh, from what I've been told, holds up fantastically well.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. There's a big contrast in what kind of comedy they're going for.
But it is still a comedy show.
It is, and it doesn't just get its humor from the art and the direction. There's actual character comedy in there.
Yeah. So even there's a lot of some older ADV stuff that does hold up a lot better, I think, dub-wise than this. I think Angelic Layer holds up fairly well. I think Princess Tutu holds up fairly fucking well. The biggest issue I have with this dub is that I figured one of us was going to throw it out there, is that this dub uses a couple of slurs even for, like, 2005. Like, it throws out the word "fuck" pretty easily, but it won't say the word "fuck."
Yeah, I actually, like, had to pause for a second because I felt it came out so out of left field.
Yeah, like, it felt really, really weird. But, like, that's on the director to me. That's not... The director should have said, hey, like... And that's the thing, is it's incredibly stupid that they won't say fuck. They say fudgin', and it's just...
Theoretically, it did get on television. It got on cable television, so I have to assume that they were eyeing for a broadcast release of this, which is why they intentionally didn't put the F word in there.
But even then, like, they drop really easy.
I was like, oh, yeah, that was...
And that is, like... And you can say it's a product of its time. This is, like, 15 years ago. And, like, look, I've also seen Ghost Stories. Ghost Stories throws around more slurs than any fucking anime dub that is, like, an actual, like, legitimate dub. Like, you can say Ghost Stories is a gag dub all you want, but it's a, like... And when I say legitimate dub, I mean, like... It was an actual product, like, put out by a licensed studio. Like,
it's It's not a bunch of fans dicking around in their spare time. It's
No.
done by professionals.
And it's
not
not,
an
and it's
abridged
not like a
series.
blooper reel. It's not like a blooper reel like the Berserk outtakes. Like, trust me, somebody in the Berserk outtakes uses that term a lot. And
Wow.
trust me, I fucking love the Berserk outtakes. I think they're hysterical at points. Like, the line, I think Costco wants me to stuff her like a Thanksgiving turkey is hysterical. And
Megan, could we date ourselves any further by referencing, of all things, the Berserk outtakes?
I follow the fucking Berserk outtakes bot on Twitter.
Your love is like a
That's a
truck,
fucking
Berserker.
Berserker. God, there's another one that always fucking kills me every time, which is which one of you is Goku? And just follow the Berserk. If you've never seen them, just watch the fucking Berserk outtakes.
Mhm.
But there's something about this dub that just, maybe it's because it's Stephen Foster, and maybe it might be just like my own like, I've seen Stephen Foster at his worst. Like, I remember when Queen Saga's dub first came out.
Ooh.
I remember
Oh.
those clip videos.
You remember those?
Andrew was a fetus, but the rest of us were old enough.
Ouch.
I'm sorry, Andrew, you were literally a fetus in the anime community. Oh, wait, actually, no, you're a teenager. You might be a Gen Xer, but we're, like, boomers.
No.
Okay.
Come on, no,
I
No.
think people who watch Star Blazers on TV are both anime boomers and actual boomers. Maybe early Gen X. I'm not sure if the line falls in there.
I thought we were...
somewhere out there, Mike Toole just looks up and, like, a single tear rolls down his face.
No, I
Amon.
made Mike Toole cry. I feel
Amon.
bad now.
We reserve the right to call ourselves boomers only if we watch the original Bubblegum Crisis. Clearly.
Fuck, man, I didn't even do that.
Okay, Boomer.
Shut up,
Oh.
Andrew. I'm telling your girlfriend. But no, like, the thing is that, like, I've seen Stephen Foster at his worst. Like, I remember the Queen Saga dub clips. I've sat through Kids on the Slope, which is fucking awful as a dub. I've heard awful things about the Penguin Drum dub.
Mm-hmm. Great performers. Absolutely terrible direction and writing.
And if I'm right, didn't he just, like, fucking just quit in the middle of... Was he quit in the middle of that or Quinot, if I'm right?
I think
got through
I've
all
heard
of
he
Clannad.
quit in the middle of Penguin Drum.
I think-
Clannad would be weird because that's kind of old.
I don't know, just there's something about this dub that I think it's perfectly fine to watch. There are just a lot of really weird missteps in it.
Okay.
Also, like, no child actually sounds like a child. They all sound like 40-year-old men.
Oh,
Even when it's not supposed to be.
to
that
be
way.
fair,
I buy that was a weird deliberate choice.
That was not... Yeah,
that's one I completely buy was intentional for the show.
Yeah, there was even one time where I think, like, there was an actual legitimate child character, and even that sounded a little too old. But, like, this one should at least sound like a little kid. But
Mm.
I'm done. You guys can go.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was really long, but...
No, don't worry about it.
It's our first time fostering it up, so we gotta do what we gotta do.
It is as we take ourselves serious as reviewers. It is important to be honest. It's worth the discussion worth having.
Look, we gotta make sure we foster the people.
Boo! Boo this man!
Damn it, Andrew. We were saving that for later in the episode.
Really? You were?
I mean, you can't pop that cherry too early, okay? You've got to preserve it and save it for just the right moment.
Amon, happy birthday. I made a very obscure music reference for you.
That was a hit song from
That
my
was the-
college years. It's not that obscure.
I was gonna say.
I own that CD. Thank you.
Okay, Boomer.
If you wanted to make a really obscure reference, then you gotta reference like Yoshimi battles the pink robots or something like that.
That's better at least. That wasn't a hit.
What was that? what was their one album that you had to have like 4 CDs played on 4 separate players
Oh,
simultaneously?
Zarika, which I played that way in college.
Who has 4 CD players in the
Amon.
early 2000s? Aside from Amon.
Andrew, if you're in college, everyone has. If you're in college in the early 2000s, everyone has a laptop that probably still has a CD drive. So there you go.
I was at the era that nobody had CD drives anymore unless they had towers.
That's because Andrew's a fucking fetus.
Sure.
Does Andrew even know who the Flaming Lips are? Question mark.
The what?
That-
Well, I guess
Oh,
that
I
answers
guess-
that question.
Well, I mean, Andrew knows one person's flaming lips.
Okay, I'm gonna take the microphone here. Andrew, please tell us what you thought about High Cromartie School.
I thought that this dub was very strange, but I almost feel like here's the thing. Foster is a very infamous director, but I kind of feel like the direction for a show as strange and surreal as hell for this kind of works. Being a little weird. Like, I think this was weird in some good ways, in a way... How do I describe it? Cromartie High School is not a show that makes me laugh out loud, like... This is not a Nichijou, which, ironically enough, this is indeed the Nichijou group, which I find amazing. No, this show is very much... This is not a laugh out loud gag dub. This is more of like a... I think I said this was very Adult Swim kind of comedy, where you're like, yeah, that checks out. Like, if I had to just...
Very specifically, like, early 2000s, we are kind of just getting off the ground. Just throw anything on the screen.
Like, this is
Adult
like
Swim.
some Aqua Teen Hunger Force fucking shit.
It's like Perfect Hair Forever, Gemusetu, Machu Picchu kind of stuff.
There you go. Wow.
I was gonna go for 12-ounce mouse personally.
Okay, no, this one is much more comedically like normal than something like 12-ounce mouse.
I do cocaine. that
Okay,
one I know is Metalocalypse.
That was Metalocalypse.
If I had to
Which is closer to this.
If I had... Yeah, I could see Metalocalypse. You know what? Actually, this is very Metalocalypse. I could kind of see Metalocalypse. If I had to describe what I feel like the ideal... If I had to describe my ideal watching conditions for Cromartie High School, it would be the same way I consumed the Eric Andre show in high school. 1 a.m, half asleep, the TV's on, and I'm giggling like a madman because I'm too tired to really understand what's going on. That is the ideal condition.
I thought you were gonna say how you
Andrew,
consume the Eric Andre show high.
How dare you not know what a CD player is?
Wait, is that what you said? I know what a CD player is.
Apparently not, according to Megan. How fucking dare you?
I know what a CD player is. Come on.
Also, hi.
Oh, my fetus, Steph.
God damn.
I'm at Steph's right now. Hello. What the fuck was I talking about? No.
That's where he's getting the kiss from the flaming lips from.
You stop that. Okay, so if I had to say, this is a very strange comedic dub. The script is quite amusing at times. The direction is strange and weird, but it's kind of a bit gruff. I think it does a good job doing that nice mix of doing gruff, serious delivery, but also being kind of quirky at times, too. Like, there's times where I feel like they go maybe a little too quirky, but I feel like when they're actually doing very serious gruff, it kind of works for the show. It's a very strange dub. I like it. I'm not sure, I don't think it quite holds up, but I think it's, as a strange, surrealist comedy dub, I think it does succeed and get the job done spectacularly. So, yeah.
Now, this is a podcast where we're supposed to kind of break down what we think about dubs. I don't feel like that quite does this show proper service. There's a popular saying that you don't dance about architecture. Trying to talk about the dub of Cromartie, I feel like, is like trying to cook about weather. There's just some things that don't express your feelings in a proper way, and trying to describe the show, I don't think does that well, because it's a show that is originally a parody of 80s delinquent anime and manga that they were big in the 80s. Like, oh my god, you couldn't swing a dead hooker without hitting an 80s delinquent manga.
Holy shit! No, why are you swinging dead hookers?
They were everywhere too. You've seen quite a few OVAs from that time period. That was like all there was.
I've seen enough Mad Bull 34 to know where this is going.
That wasn't even set in high school, but yeah, that's an example.
You should put a pin in that dark analogy.
No matter what, Hardy will always show us the clip of his ass being full of cream.
So yeah, in adapting this, the one question I had going into this was, is anything lost in the translation? Because this really isn't about the acting exactly. It's an absurdist, Dadaist comedy where what you're watching entirely depends on whether or not you think this is funny. And nothing seems to be lost in the translation. The characters are directed to take the content seriously. They're not entirely making a farce of the content they're given. And the writing holds up on that pretty well, too. There's some good wordplay here. Like, there's one scene where they use the phrase plucky bleached blonde to refer to a girl who changes her hair color at the end of the school year. And there's phrases like, but be careful or else your hair will turn white and you'll look like a pussy. Some of those things seem like a little bit too much liberty given to that were deviated from the original Japanese, but it matches the spirit just fine. That being said, Stephen Foster's handling of this pretty much was just to keep up with the absurdist side of it, and if you're not on board with that, then I can't imagine you would like watching through all 26 episodes of this. It took me about halfway through the show to kind of jive with it, and by that point, I guess I invested too much time into it not to watch more of it. So, yeah, I feel like this whole Dub Talk episode is going to be a weird exercise in trying to describe something that kind of just needs to be experienced. But I didn't dislike it. I stopped disliking it. So that's at least one good thing.
Yeah. I was about to say, yeah, Promare is like that, and I realized this is not Promare.
Probably on the other end of the spectrum.
It's very much on the other end of the spectrum.
This show's too straight to be Promare.
That's like a bad Netflix algorithm recommendation.
Because you watch Cromartie, you may like
Promare.
I mean, in fairness, I could see people who like Cromartie liking Promare a lot more readily than the other way around. Like,
Promare's got a
you
much
liked
higher...
Cromartie High School. Can I recommend you The Tiger King?
Fuck.
Freddie Mercury did ride on a tiger once, didn't he?
I believe so.
You're right.
Ozzy Osbourne ate 2 bats.
Freddie rides a horse in this one. I'm wondering if that's
no. He ate a bat and a dove on 2 separate occasions.
Ozzy Osbourne's tighter strides died.
Ozzy Osbourne as a human being, it is kind of a miracle he is still alive right now in the year 2020.
Ozzy Osbourne is just a cocaine zombie.
Kind of. Also, Amon, you know music. Why is Freddie riding a horse in this?
Because he wants to break free.
I'll be honest. I'm not up on my Queen videography, so it could be a reference to something that I'm not familiar with. The alternative is that as far as I can tell, a lot of these segments are pretty straight adaptations of bits of the manga. So I'm going to assume the manga author thought it was funny.
You know what?
I'm going to assume a lot of the show is because the manga author thought it was funny.
Yeah.
That horse might have been a fat bottom girl. That's why.
That's not what ass means.
I'm sorry, Amon.
No. This is appropriate.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Happy birthday, scumbag. Damn,
We got you the blackest present that we could possibly get. Nothing!
Okay, for a second I thought you said president instead of present, and I got very concerned.
We did not get you Samuel Jackson, sorry.
What? Dang.
All I'm thinking of is, I know he's never been president. All I'm thinking about is, why did you kidnap Jack Black? From the Muppet, one of the newer Muppets, where he's like, what would be worse? Mildly inconveniencing Jack Black or losing the Muppets forever? Kidnapping Jack Black!
Megan? Are you one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I'm not drunk or high enough for this. 420 was yesterday.
I'm just making more Muppets references. Speaking of Muppets, Amon, how did you like this show?
So as I mentioned earlier, that the show, because my recollection is when the show came out, it was pretty popular. It's an AMV hell. It was, I think even at the time it had a little bit of a love it or hate it reputation, but it was popular at least. And on revisiting it, that feels weird. This feels very niche and singular in a way that it kind of, I can only assume some sort of weird zeitgeist, lining up kind of thing can explain its popularity in the mid-2000s. I'm imagining showing this to like a teenage anime fan now and then just being slack-jawed and dumbfounded, wondering what the fuck they're witnessing exactly.
Well, no, we kind of gave teenage anime fans a taste of this like 2 years ago. It was called Pop Team Epic and half of them fucking hated it.
Well, that's true. Yeah, but Pop Team Epic at least looks nice. This is even more crude and weird.
Well, I appreciated that Pop Team Epic had more mixed art styles, which is the one thing about the art style that I will complain about this show, is that I don't mind that it's not really well animated or that the characters are so stiff, but they just have one consistent art style. Pop Team Epic at least mixed it up every once in a while.
Oh, Pop!
Noah should watch Gal and Dino.
Yes, he should.
Pop Team Epic is artistic in its weird Dada surrealness. Cromartie is less so.
We'll call it minimalist
Cromartie,
to be nice.
Cromartie is the urinal, is that fucking urinal at the museum that is Dada.
Harsh.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's not harsh.
No, in the art world, a lot of people hate that piece. They think it's stupid.
I've never even heard of this piece.
Oh my god.
That's
I'll educate
Megan
you later, Andrew.
Oh shit, I almost said my last fucking name.
Homework assignment.
Giorno Giovanna, have a fucking humanities degree.
Anyways, and I bring this up because I find Cromartie very entertaining. It's the exact sort of weird, bizarro, more conceptually funny than funny haha kind of thing that I tend to enjoy. I'm the man who finds pseudo-essays by, what's his name? Jorge Luis Borges funny, so, I'm not to be trusted, frankly.
Excuse me, I trust you with my life more than anybody on this podcast not named Patrick.
That's fair.
That is very sweet of you, but you should still not listen to any recommendations I give, because you'll wonder, what the fuck is wrong with Amon? He enjoys this?
I mean,
It's just been 2 hours of a man it's just been 2 hours of a man not wanting to be a father. This is a terrible movie.
Honestly, Amon, I legit would trust your recommendations of strange, surreal art house shit with my life.
That's very kind of you to say. Thank you. Consequently, Cromartie is very much, I mean, not my favorite thing in the world, but it's my kind of thing. And I do think the dub, for all of its flaws and edges, does capture that very well. I find this feels like the kind of one of the things that always confused me about Steve Foster. I've not seen a lot of his bad dubs because I hear they're terrible and I've avoided them. And they always confuse me because I've seen different shows. It's like, why are you putting the man who did a good job with High School of the Dead on coming-of-age drama about jazz music? What led to this decision? I don't understand. This, on the other hand, makes sense. It's like, oh, okay. I understand why they gave him this show. This makes sense to me.
And this came before he'd really even gotten that reputation.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, no, this I understand why you would either put him on this or like Super Milk Chan, another show where it's like, okay, this makes sense to me. I understand why you
I've seen one whole episode of Super Milk Chan. Thanks, Itchy.
Yeah, put that license rescue that one, Discotheque.
Please, we will 100% do a fucking Super Milk Chan episode.
Unquestionably.
God damn it.
No, the only thing I remember from Super Milk Chan is there's like a weird live action segment with a bunch of the ADV actors.
I wonder if that's why it hasn't been license rescued. They probably have to re-sign releases for all those people, don't they?
Oh.
Probably.
Man.
Like, Monica's the secretary, like, I think Hillary Haig's walking people around, but there's this one part where they're giving a tour, and I just remember that Greg Ayers is in the tour group. And and I guess the actor that they're gonna watch is Dave Matranga, and Dave just closes the door and turns around and Greg's like right up his ass and he freaks out. And that's the only thing I've ever remembered about Super Milk Chan.
You guys watch weird anime.
Oh, you fucking bet we did.
I think you were fucking there.
Andrew, you were there. One, you were there when we watched that too. This show was on Adult Swim back in the day, thank you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, Andrew, you were fucking there.
Might have been, I genuinely...
You were, because we were watching it with Prof.
Right!
At AB a couple years ago, yeah.
That was the AB where we got to see Japanese FLCL and watched Mind Game and watched Twat on the Funimation forums lose his mind because he had to hear Japanese on Toonami.
Wait, I don't think I was actually there. You called me on the phone.
You were!
Was this the April Fool's Day where Adult Swim played weird stuff? They played the, the Mind Game?
They played Mind Game.
Short
Andrew, you were...
The original short from
No, you were there.
I think I was on the Steph.
I remember this. I wasn't there, but I remember you tweeting about this, saying that this was the kind of surreal thing you never thought would happen in your life.
No, you weren't there.
Okay.
Because that was the year of
was a different
That
year.
was the year where we went to the restaurant and we're here for the Airbnb.
Okay, I was gonna say, I did not think I was at that year.
Yeah, that
maybe.
was the we're here for the Airbnb year,
The one
right?
with the Toonami prank.
Oh.
I wasn't there. You guys
you
called
see,
me on the
folks.
phone.
When you get
April
old like
Fool-
us,
yep.
your memory starts to
Yeah,
fade.
you weren't there.
It's a true fact.
Why did I... Okay, now I know who I'm confusing Andrew for, but no. But, like, a couple of us who have seen... I've seen Super Milk Chan.
I've not
so-
seen Super Milk Chan, so.
Oh, man, we gotta fucking show you... We gotta get Itchy to show you fucking Super Milk Chan.
Okay.
Anyways.
We are never gonna
That-
get through this.
No, we're not.
Back on point. I enjoy this dub. It appeals to the part of me that likes things that are like weird and messy and flawed, and that I probably recommend with a certain asterisk attached to it.
Mhm.
It's not even like this may not be for you. It's like you may just not like this.
I can totally.
It may not actually be good.
I can.
It's not,
I don't think it's that
essential viewing for anyone, really.
I don't think that it's not good. I think it's just one of those. I could see somebody watching this and straight up hating it and just not getting it.
Unquestionably, this is.
Oh, like, this is a show that I think if we asked Gigi to do this episode, she would have fucking killed us.
Oh, Gigi.
I like Gigi. I would not bestow this upon her. That's mean.
Why do I... Yeah, okay, you like me too, so...
Not enough good-looking boys in the show to recommend.
Absolutely not.
I don't even think anybody's attractive in this show.
I will say the anime makes Freddy a lot more attractive. He looks absolutely... In the manga, he looks like he's played by Ian McDermott in Deadwood.
Freddy. Okay.
Or Ian McShane, sorry, not McDermott. Ian McShane in Deadwood. That's what he looks like in the manga.
Freddy in this looks so bara that he would be in a manga from the author of My Brother's Husband.
Andrew. Freddie Mercury's a little skinny to be Bara, but like he's getting there.
Freddie Mercury is what we would call a twunk.
Okay, no, in this show he's straight up beefy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, in this show he's a bara. IRL Freddie Mercury was a twunk.
You're
Good night, everybody.
You're wrong.
Too refined to be a himbo, right?
No. And, okay.
A himbo cannot get away with being so naturally funny that he relates a story about how he met Sid Vicious once and commented that he called him, like, Johnny Furious, and he did not like that at all.
And,
Wait,
look,
Freddie Mercury
to
met
be...
Sid Vicious?
Yes, that's a real thing that happened that I just explained here.
I'm
Also, Noah, to be a himbo, there are a couple qualities. One, they must be big. They must be beefy. They must be big and beefy. Number 2, they must be stupid as fuck. And 3, they must drink their respect women juice.
I'm sure there's a chart out there. I'm sure someone's got a Google Doc that's listing.
There's a fucking himbo alignment chart.
Or maybe it's one of those triangles, like, you know, it's the McDonald's triangle, but the corners are just himbo, twunk,
Bearish twink.
Yeah, there you go.
There is fucking triangle chart.
I feel like this episode is just straight up the Cromartie High experience at this point.
You're not wrong. Look, if you want to know if you're going to enjoy the show, are you enjoying this right now? If so...
You'll probably like Cromartie High.
We're missing...
Remember, imagine all the tangential bits of Lucky Star, except it's being done by big, barely animated delinquent men.
That's an interesting comparison, because actually Lucky Star references this show in, like, its second episode.
Does it?
Oh, yeah, because that was the second episode, they referenced different anime the characters have been watching. So they reference Cromartie High School, and they reference Pony Pony Dash, back to back.
Meaning that Noah wants to kill himself twice.
The 2000s were a weird era.
Oh, you bet.
But no one, we don't have a name. We still don't have a fucking name for it yet.
We never will.
It's the naughties.
It was a bad decade.
We're not British.
Not with that attitude.
English.
They're gonna reclaim. Eventually, Mom's gonna reclaim us.
Man, I am here for the liberation of Ireland. That is all I'm here for. By the way, Puff and Rock is getting a movie.
Eventually, our true mother, the Queen of England, is gonna see our dumb shit and take us out of daycare.
Just like this show, which is basically teenagers in daycare. Speaking of which, we should probably start talking about those teenagers.
I want to let Amon
that'd be-
finish his segment, so I'm sorry for interrupting him.
I enjoy this. It's weird. It's lumpy. I think it captures what makes the show appealing and unappealing really well. Like, it feels like the right dub for this source material, if that makes any sense.
It does, yeah.
For better and for worse.
Yeah. See, I'm on the thing of like this. this entire product is dated, therefore the dub is actually really good for it.
Yeah.
I'm
This
still
is-
going to point out the flaws of this dub, including them just dropping the word. Like, I'm saying the word just because I have to say it to explain what they've said, but them dropping, like, the hard F gay slur when they won't say fuck is, like, a really weird fucking thing.
It is a bizarre.
And ADV was
the
not.
mid 2000s, man.
I mean, ADV did that in a couple of our dubs. They drop slurs like that. They drop in shows. I'm sorry, I won't say it again, but just that word in other dubs that were honestly much tamer than this, and it feels really out of place
saying,
now.
Like, it's in like Kanon or something.
It is.
Someone drops.
Yuichi rolls up a roll of paper and he smacks one of the girls, playfully of course, and says, "Don't be a when I'm trying to help you." And that just felt really out of place because nothing else in the dub is like that.
So much bleeping in this episode. Anyways.
Yes, please bleep that out.
Yeah,
Also,
please.
Yes.
This is an anime, but I had that. I was rereading an early volume of Tsubasa Chronicles where they also dropped the R-bomb, and it's like, this feels very out of place in this soft
I own the anime for that, so now I'm like half tempted to go see if that's like in the anime, but I don't think that is.
That's
I'd
a
be
long-ass show, though.
Yeah, a long-ass show that I own every single anime part of it of. It is one of my favorite goddamn train wrecks.
I think we know what Megan's next birthday episode is going to be.
No, it's not, for one big reason.
Oh yeah, it's not streaming anywhere.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that.
Let's go with that.
Anywho, acting is important.
I like acting.
I like acting.
Acting is debatably not as important in the show as the 40-minute segment we just exited. But we'll see. but before we get to the credited people, there is a lot of additional voices in the show if you watch the actual credits.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little odd. I almost want to track down someone who worked on this and figure out, because named characters won't get named credits in the end credits on some episodes, and I'm curious to know how that worked out. Before we do that, I'm going to rattle off some of the additional voices on this show because they're fun and they should get some due diligence. So thank you to Adam Conlon, Adam Jones, Ashfar Karat, Alan Divers, BG Donna, Blake Shepard, Brandon Peters, Brian Grandvelt, Chris Ayers, Chris Kring, Chris Nelson, Chris Stewart. Thank you, Chris's. Dwight Clark, Ernie Manhouse, Fred Walters Jr., Hillary Haig, Jason Miesa, John Swayze, Kira Vincent Davis, Lucy Christian, Matt Crawford, Paul Odo, Quentin Haig, and Ty Mahaney. You did good.
Lucy Christian shows up.
I'm fucking surprised that Blake Shepard was in this!
Oh yeah.
There's been a young Blake Shepard. Wow.
I mean, they didn't have as big of a talent pool back then, but yeah, it's fun to watch these shows where you've been around for a while, Blake Shepard.
I think Hillary Haig's husband's in this.
Yeah, I was wondering. It's like, Quentin, alright, you're definitely related to Hillary.
Quentin
Haig.
Haig?
Don't know how.
I think that might have been an alias Hillary used, actually. Or
Quentin?
Well, she's doing little boy voices.
maybe? I don't know.
There were no little boy voices in this show.
Yes.
The little
No,
boy...
wait. The one kid in the autograph signature is Hillary Haig doing her best old man trying to do a little boy voice.
Yeah, that's what I meant by, like, there's, like, one little kid that should sound like a little kid, but he just doesn't, like, it's not even fucking trying.
He sounds like a little child.
No.
No, he sounds like a 20-year-old man.
Anyways,
30.
Going to get his Putan autograph.
Thank you, additional voices.
Speaking of Putan.
Hey!
Segue. Our first group of characters. They're all very minor. There's a lot of minor characters in the show. We're not going to cover all of them, mostly because I don't know who played half of them. I'm not that good at picking out voices. But we're going to cover a couple. Starting off, we have the masked Takanuchi. He is an airline hijacker who he basically gets pseudo-foiled by another student who doesn't want the airline to take off because he'll get motion sick. We're going to talk about him later. And he ends up going back to the school and becoming a student for a while. And everyone just thinks it's like, oh, you're this friend of ours we haven't seen in a while. I guess he's wearing a mask now. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah, because even though said guy is, like, fucking lost in America.
He's in Nevada.
Yeah.
He's got his own...
Oh, I love Beck.
Apparently in the manga he becomes like a goon for the mafia for a while, which, alright, that checks out.
That checks out.
We have Putan and Putan's buddy. There are two guys who are on a bizarre little surrealist show on TV that's maybe funny. It's unclear.
Is it funny?
There's a whole episode about whether or not it is funny.
The answer is apparently yes.
Well, it's better than that show starring the little thing Lucy Christian's voice.
Okay, that was weird.
Well, that's up for debate, but let me tell you, Digikarat was a fucking phenomenon back in the day. So many spin-offs, so much merchandise, so many cat ears. Oh god, so many cat ears.
Yeah, put that one in for franchise no one remembers anymore. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Ooh.
It's really weird because I'd never watched Digikarat, but I was like, when that popped up, I'm like, that's fucking Digikarat! Which means that it's somehow going to get an anime remake within the next 5 years.
Good lord.
Don't say that. Don't. We need that just as much as we need a remake of Cyber Marionette J.
You want that,
Oof.
don't you?
No, I don't like football heads. Give me more
But
shit.
Hey Arnold is such a good cartoon.
Sure thing, Helga.
That did get a revamp. That finally got a conclusion. Oh god, it is
Noah
coming.
Clue confirmed to be Helga.
And we're also going to talk about the narrator, who doesn't appear on screen, obviously, but he's amusing and he shows up occasionally.
I love God.
Exactly. Hi, Monty Python God. Nice to see you in an episode again.
Yay.
You're not played by David Wald this time.
Yay!
Last time it was Ian Sinclair.
The last episode I was on, he was played by David Wald.
Well, that was just Tonagawa, and then he turned into Ian Sinclair. Now he's turning into this guy.
Exactly. Playing these characters, the masked Taniguchi is played by George Manley, who's known for such roles as Schnitzer in Bodacious Space Pirates, Isaac in Log Horizon, and Captain Horner in Project Blue Earth SOS. Putan is played by Mike McCrea, who's known for playing Garon in Full Metal Panic and the President in Super Milk Chan. Putan's buddy, he's the pink one, is played by Rob Mungle, who's known for playing Tsubara Mimasaka in Food Wars, Bill Collins in Gunsmith Cats, and Kuichi in Mr. Tonagawa, Middle Management Blues. And the narrator...
How can you not talk about Rob Mungle about not bringing up his most iconic role as a Monojaku in Ghost Stories?
Because I don't know who anyone in Ghost Stories is named, so I'm not sure who that is.
He's the cat, isn't he?
He's the cat.
He's the cat. Okay.
He's the talking cat.
Okay, I hear it now, yeah.
And the narrator is played by Tommy Drake, who's known for such roles as Nijien in Sayuki, Ryu in the ADV dub of Street Fighter II, and Dr. Eye Patch in Super Milk Chan.
Oh boy.
What do we think? What do we... Look. Super Milk Chan I feel Super Milk Chan is a very valid point of reference for this show.
So...
I swear to God, Discotheque, if you fucking rescue it, we'll do the Super Milk Chat episode!
It's true, we will.
We are very...
We will do a fucking Super Milk Chat episode!
Goddamn.
That is a promise/threat.
A promise threat.
From Threat.
The promised Threaderland.
Megan, would you like to start us off again?
All I'm thinking about is the Promised Threaderland is a fucking house in Promised Neverland, except for all of the kids are just Naofumi. Which means it's Jet's nightmare.
That's a very... Okay.
Or no, it's the Promised Neverland, but all the kids are fucking yanderes.
You mean they weren't already?
I said the kids, not the moms.
You mean they weren't already?
Shut up, Andrew!
I don't know where
I'm gonna tell Steph no coochie for Andrew tonight.
Please no.
Please, sir, spare some coochie.
I just watched Oliver yesterday. Don't do that to me, Megan.
Alright.
My favorite thing ever is somebody did that as their fucking tip jar at Artist Alley that says, please, for something, I was like, please spare me for some coochie, and it was fucking Mista from part 5 of JoJo.
Megan, I promise, if you please talk about these actors, we will do a Dub Talk episode on the Oliver movie some other day. Please, just move on.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm very tired and brain...
We all are, don't worry.
George Manley as Mas Takanuchi, he was fine. I think it was really funny because I think he was one of the few characters that was an actual grown man.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the one that does the whole speech on, like, looking towards your future and shit?
He's
I believe so, yeah.
He's the one that tells what's his name again?
Maeda
to vote.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go fucking vote. Taka Nayuchi feels the burn.
Time.
Oh, this is gonna be an interesting episode.
Oh, you bet.
Goodbye, monetization.
No, I didn't say anything that's... As if me not throwing around the word fuck wasn't gonna do that anyway. No, I thought he was pretty good, and I like the fact that, like... I feel like the joke on him would have been better as if everybody else did sound slightly younger. But I think he was fine. Mike McRae as Puton is just really funny because he sounds like every dead 40-something-year-old middle management guy who's gotten too hard from his britches, and just Rob Mungle, when they get into their married spat, is absolutely great. Where he just puts Freddy in the Puton suit, and there's just this really awkward scene of, like, them in the Puton suits in the bathroom, and then Freddy and the Mohawk guy in their Puton suits in the bathroom, and I'm like, that's the setup to a fucking gay porn if I've ever seen one.
Help! My partner's cheating on me with Freddie Mercury.
There's no Put. I see you don't have a Puton in your beach.
You joke about that, but Teletubby porn is not new to.
I'm gonna have you stop right now, right this second.
That's not the worst thing about Teletubbies we brought up on this podcast. Don't lie.
Oh no! The Tuffy custard machine is broke.
I can't.
No apologies, none. You were saying.
Steph's gonna get a taste of Andrew's Tuffy custard soon.
Okay. Honestly,
sorry. Stop making it easy.
That's what
no,
she
Rob
said.
Mungle. Rob Mungle was. I'm surprised I actually could not tell that was Rob Mungle because I'm actually fairly familiar with his voice. I've listened to enough shit with Rob Mungle in it to like know. I'm like, okay, that's Rob Mungle. But the narrator, I liked him a lot. Like, I liked how surprisingly chill and youthful he sounded. Like,
Right?
I'm so used to narrators being like these big, over the top, like super funny things. Like David Walden Totogawa, like Ian Sinclair in Dumbbells, or Lucy Christian in Okami-san, like those kind of over the toppy.
AKA the
very
best part of that show.
Shut up, Okami-san's a great anime, fight me. But I mean, like, in the sense that they are very overly comedic and very overly, like, cartoony, where this guy was the most chill and normal sounding person in the show, which makes a lot of sense for what's in front of him, and yeah, that's my point. I'm going into fucking sleep deprivation 2 brain cells, Megan, tonight. I am so sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Alright.
Suffer for our art.
Look, I think the writing and directing were going to be the big part of this episode anyways, and we got that out of the way.
So let's just
smooth
go.
sailing from
Let's
here.
go. Mass Takanuchi is a very strange part of the show. Like, even for a lot of the strange stuff in the show, a literal plain terrorist man replacing a student for several months, and everyone's just like, oh hey, Takanuchi, what's good? And he just still stays there, is probably one of the strangest things in the show, where a show has a robot, a gorilla, and Freddie fucking Mercury as part of your student body. But George does a pretty good job. Mike McRae as Puton is just so great at how stern and tired, like, he sounds like he would be like a military soldier. That's the kind of voice he would use where he's like, I'm getting too old for this shit. It's just like...
He sounds like the guy who takes his head off in the underground tunnels of Magic Kingdom after he's just done being Minnie Mouse.
Oh my god.
There's a visual image.
MICKEYMOUSE. This is how I go on. Kill my enemies.
Hey babe,
What?
You said that.
you want? Can I have some tubby custard?
No!
God
Oh.
damn it.
Please,
No!
please.
No! Why would you do this? I can't...
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have literal audio proof, Megan.
No, you don't.
Okay. Anyways, no, Mike McRae is really funny just because the voice is very stern and gruff, and that works for what's basically supposed to be a very cute mascot character. And the same works with Rob Mungol as his friend, which is it's just so very strange how it's this very weird, surrealist show where they're wearing the cute costumes. It's like, oh, it's funny because of the costumes. And then they take off their costumes for their what would be, I guess, their podcast after show in 2020. I would watch a podcast with Puton.
A pooncast, if you were.
You would watch a podcast with Puton.
Anyways,
Absolutely.
and Tommy Drake is just, as Megan said, just very chill and relaxing for a show of weird, zany antics, which I think really works for this dub. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Also, I like the part of the intro where Puton... it wasn't even Puton. It was Rob Mungol's guy that punches Puton, and as they're just standing there like they're in The Shining.
I love the part with them in the opening where, like, they bounce against each other, he punched them, and then they just stand there again.
Yeah. Which, by the way, the opening of the show is high art.
Oh, it's very
the
good.
opening of the show is fucking amazing. I have the song stuck in my head still.
Alright.
Are you finished, Andrew?
I'm finished, yes.
Would you like to go, Noah?
So, Andrew, you have not seen Full Metal Panic yet.
I have not.
Correct?
I have not seen Full Metal Panic.
Okay, because you referencing Mike playing a stern military guy is incredibly hilarious, considering he plays Gowron in Full Metal Panic, and Gowron is one messed up terrorist military guy. So
Garon's like the villain for part of the show, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
For both for the first and the second season. I'm sorry, not the second. The second season is technically the comedy one. I mean the.
Oh, is he back for Invisible Victory?
I don't remember. It's been...
No, because there's Full Metal Panic the Second Raid, Full Metal Panic Fumofu, and then there's Full Metal Panic Invisible Victory. I've never seen any of Full Metal Panic, I just know there's 4 seasons of it.
Well, technically, as far as continuity goes, it was the original series first. Second one that was produced was the comedy one Fumofu, and then after that they made Second Raid, which is more like a second season that kind of dismisses Fumofu to begin with, and that's where Garon comes back.
So he's a big antagonist in the serious parts.
Does he ever come back? I wonder if he comes back in Invisible Victory.
I didn't watch it.
I don't think a lot of people watched it. I just know it's fucking impossible to buy on DVD.
That's sad. Anyway. I saw an LE of it on sale at a used video store.
I think that was the only version of it that was released, but that's another story.
Well, this show, on the other hand, actually, this show was also unavailable for quite a while, so I'm glad Discotech picked this up. So thank you guys for that. I don't have anything witty to add about these 4 characters, because unfortunately, a lot of the actors in this are directed to sound very similar to each other. They're low-voiced, tough guys. Many of them are parodies of delinquent teenagers. These 4 are not. These 4 are obviously, all 3 of them are adults, and the narrator is just God, so I guess he counts as an adult. So that kind of takes away the ability for them to sound distinct from each other, but I will give credit to both Mike and Rob for playing off each other very well, in a straight way, because I don't mean that pejoratively. I mean, like, actually taking the content seriously. I'm imagining in a post-4Kids world where they would not have an idea about how to adapt this material, and definitely getting to the Puton parts of this. Puton is a different kid show. Just trying to figure out, like, why is this in the show? What are we adapting? What am I doing with my life? And I have to assume that the Dadaist reading is that this was created as a way to demonstrate something very wrong with society. And in this case, the very wrong part of people in grown adult costumes. So clearly this is a satire of Disney World in general. Now with that being said, yes, clearly the show is a big critique of the Walt Disney Company as a whole, and as someone who hates the great acquisition of Disney World to the Disney Company, I fully endorse this. So yes, these 2 were the best part of the show, and there are parts where they were satirizing kids' content of the time period, live-action kid shows of the time period. It's absolutely perfect. Maybe a little lost on us here in 2020 when our collective IQ has gone down even further, but I'm sure at the time period this would have been hailed as the greatest comedic sensation since Chris Rock's anything he's ever done in the past. That's
I look forward to Putan's collaboration with Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Oh god!
Coming soon to a Kickstarter near you.
I'd kickstart the shit out of that. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I was honestly like, am I missing something, or was their segment actually supposed to be not a parody, but like a farce of children's entertainment, like Barney? Or
I mean, that's what Yamaguchi's trying to figure out, man.
He's literally just like, I don't get it. What is the appeal?
His journey is our journey as the audience. He is audience by proxy.
That is the one self-referential part of the show that did feel like it was trying to commentate on something.
I feel like Yamaguchi watching Putan is like the viewer watching Cromartie High. Like, the first time viewer watching Cromartie High, trying to be like, okay, what is the actual comedic pull of this?
Appeal of this.
Very much.
To give full credit to both Mike and Rob, they did what they were supposed to do very well. It's very interesting to hear that low voice being used for what's content-wise like very essentially lighthearted content. They're making jabs about like day-to-day activities. Like I'm racking my brain to remember, like, wait, what even happened in the show? I can't remember. And I even wrote it down too.
They punched each other and Freddie Mercury stole their jobs.
They sort of have nonsense. Yeah, they have nonsense conversations.
Yeah.
And
Like, I think one of the conversations, like, I went out and I talked to somebody. Was it someone you knew?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
that.
There's nothing very Seinfeldian about it all.
Is there a part where Putan and them are going to get into a no masturbation contest?
Well, here's the good thing is that they can't reach their dicks with those giant hand costumes.
Not with that attitude.
Anything can become a fleshlight if you try hard enough.
Oh dear.
Amon, I'm sorry.
It's alright.
Please talk about
I knew what I was getting into.
Did you? Did you really?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Any other thoughts?
I'm good.
No. I'm
Alright,
more interesting thoughts for other characters.
Fair enough. Let's see. George Manley was entertaining. I like just the weird gag of his character where he gets thwarted from hijacking a plane and then starts going to the school and continues to go to the school even though he's clearly like a grown-ass adult, so he has no reason to stay there, and continues to stay there when the guy they keep mistaking him for comes back.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does come back, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" Nobody questions it.
There's something about just the inertia of everyone's actions in this show. They just continue to do things despite all evidence to the contrary. They should stop.
Why even go to the school? There's no learning. There's no teachers we ever see. They're just continuously going through the motions.
It's like fucking the fucking Peanuts, man.
Yep. They do stuff.
I don't remember Freddie Mercury being in Charlie Brown.
Coming to Six Flags. I can make a joke because at least 3 of you live in a state with a Six Flags owned park.
This is true.
That is true.
Mike McCree and Rob Mungle, I find them very entertaining. Putan is also weird in a way that appeals to me. Again, I'm not sure. It's more like concept funny than haha funny, but like, I can watch this. I don't know if I actually like it, but I can watch it. And they play, and I especially like when they get into their just sort of argument about who needs who, and they get supplanted by Freddy and Ayashida. It's just like, oh, well, that backfired. Oops. And I also really like Tommy Drake as the narrator. He kind of stood out because he was so much more low key than everything going on around him. I found him very entertaining, which I was not expecting, mostly because I'd forgotten there even was a narrator in this show. So yeah, fun times. On to our next group of characters. They're slightly more important. They show up in more than one episode.
Yay!
And they do things, kind of.
They do things. We have Takeshi Hakuto, who's the son of a rich boy, and he came to Cromartie High School to take over the school, and he's going to use the fact that his dad was the chair of the board as a threat to take over things, and then it turns out the Cromartie is a municipal school. He transferred to the wrong high school entirely, and now he's just kind of hanging out there.
I love the fucking bullshit they do to justify why he's still there the entire time.
It's great. And he has a lackey. The lackey has no name. Well, he has a name, and he tries to say it repeatedly, but no one will let him.
It's so sad.
Like, I genuinely felt awful for it.
It's the true tragedy. He just wants to be known. They won't even let him be known.
He just wants to be noticed.
Whatever his name is. We have Noboru Yamaguchi, who doesn't actually go to Cromartie. He goes to a rival high school, and he's the leader of the gang there, and he also likes writing and sending in jokes to the radio. It's his big pride, and he has a rivalry with another guy named Honey Boy, who occasionally gets better jokes than him. Later we find out Honey Boy is actually the main character, to his chagrin.
Of course.
Wasn't Honey Boy that one Chris Farley movie? I thought
no, it's Tommy Boy.
No, I thought that was that one album by The Who.
God damn it. Shut up.
God.
It keeps up all night.
Please don't.
And Yamaguchi has a lackey named Jun Ishikawa, who has weird hair and a very bad sense of humor that irritates Yamaguchi, because no one knows this about Yamaguchi, but he is a connoisseur of comedy.
But everybody thinks he hates comedy because he punches the one funny guy in his group.
Yeah, exactly. Also, Jun Ishikawa shares his name with a modernist author and literary critic. Which, given that Cromartie High School is named after a real person, may be intentional. I'm not entirely sure.
It's just a thing to know.
It's very possible. One of the other characters shares their name with the guy who writes the familiar Zero light novels, but I think that's just a coincidence. He was not actually well known when the show came out.
That's probably a coincidence.
Anyways, these characters are played by... Hakuto is played by Jason Douglas, who you know for playing Chio's dad in Azumanga Daioh, the Duke of Orleans in Le Chevalier d'Eon. You find something funny about this,
darkness, my old friend.
I wish I were a bird. How are you? Fine, thank you.
Yeah, when are we going to do the Azumanga episode, right?
After we've had a next 420. Let's do that.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, absolutely. Damn, I would actually fucking do that. No, damn it, next 420 isn't a Wednesday, though.
Next year. Well, year after that, maybe. Anyways, and Jason Douglas also did Galahad Warher in Gangsta. Hakuto's lackey is played by Greg Ayers, who you know for lots of things, but maybe particularly you might know for being Kiyuki in Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, Monokuma in Danganronpa, and Tsuyoshi Okiho in Kodocha. Noboru Yamaguchi is played by James Faulkner, who you might know for such roles as Ilfangan Clouseau in Full Metal Panic, Jean-Patrick Chaplin in Razafon, and the Moby Dick in Hakage, The Legend of the Moby Dick. I assume that's a boat or something. I've never seen that show.
That is the one gonzo adaptation of a literary work that I don't think is available anywhere.
I mean, you
that I don't think you'll also ever touch because you fucking hate.
I keep my hands off that Moby Dick. That thing can swim off into the ether as far as I care.
And Jun Ishikawa is played by Jacob A. Greygard, who's mostly... He doesn't actually have a lot of named roles to his credit. He's done minor roles in stuff like The Chevalier d'Eon, Dirty Pair, Project Eden, and Pony Pony Dash, Noah's favorite. So, Megan, would you like to start us again?
Yeah, sure. I'll start with Jun Ishikawa, Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked his voice. He sounded, I think, to me, like, everyone sounds older, but he kind of sounds a little bit more like a high schooler to me. And he reminds me of kind of like those background gruff guys that you hear in a lot of delinquent dubs from like Funimation stuff. And then Noboru Yamaguchi, man, when I was listening to him talk, I felt like his performance was like pretty stiff at points. I don't think he was the best performance in it, but it bugged me because I fucking knew his voice. I'm like, I know this voice. I know it from somewhere. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, it's Mr. Policeman from Kaleido Star. Another show in which he is not the best actor. I mean, he's fine, but he also, like, Mr. Policeman sounds like a 20-year-old, like, a 20 to 30-year-old dude, so does Yamaguchi. Like, it was kind of one of the ones that stood out to me more.
Mhm.
But I do like a lot of his stuff. I like where he's like, honey boy. Like, where he is very much trying to be the straight man, like the comic guy in this, but he's very much the straight man for a lot of things. Like when they go get Gorilla Sushi. Which, God, Gorilla Sushi was such a fucking great, weird episode. Mostly because I think the two best characters in the show are the gorilla and Freddy, who don't talk. And then, oh man, I love Jason Douglas and Greg Ayres bouncing off each other. Jason Douglas does not sound like a high schooler at fucking all.
It's great.
There is no... Here's the thing, Greg does. This is Greg's big boy voice. Like, it's not Chrono from Chrono Crusade, but it's, if you've seen the big wind-up, it's its catcher character. Or it's, oh my god, what the fuck is his name from Carnival? Oh, fuck, I can't remember his name. Shit.
You're asking the wrong group.
Yeah, I know I'm asking the wrong group of people about Carnival.
Hey, hang on a second. Steph? What's Greg Ayres' character in Carnival called?
Like, the character's name?
Yes.
I remember Shawn Michael Teague's character, Nye.
She is
Is that Garaki?
What?
Garaki?
Yeah, it's Garaki.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Garaki, thank you. Yeah, Garaki, yeah, it's Garaki, but they call him Gareki. But yeah, it's Garaki. Like, it's more that, and but him and Jason Douglas are fucking hysterical. Like, this is Jason who the fuck did Jason... This is just Beerus!
Oh, you beat me to it!
I didn't even watch Dragon Ball Z and I know this is fucking Beerus' voice. This is just Beerus and Whis, the OG.
Oh shit, actually kind of.
He's gonna be the supreme leader of Japan, remember? He just didn't know what yogurt was made out of. Speaking of which, Andrew knows what Steph knows. I
Really,
fucked
Meg?
that up.
Okay,
I fucked it up. I don't get to make that joke anymore.
You blew that.
Fucked up the execution. My comedy's bad. My segment is over. I think Jacob did a good job. I think James Faulkner could have been a little bit like less stiff and more believable. But I love Jason Douglas and Greg as Hokuto and Hokuto's lackey.
Okay. So starting off with June, I remember his voice the least out of this group, but I think his character did at least get me to chuckle a couple times just because he's clearly the douchebag of his group. He is clearly just the big douchebag of this squad, and you can tell everybody sees that he's the one willing to egg on the boss the most, but he's willing to get beat up for it. So I guess that means they kind of respect him for it. But he's got a pretty funny voice, too, which works. James Faulkner as Yamaguchi, I actually really like his very smooth, like, stern tone of voice.
His tone is smooth, but his delivery is stilted.
It's a little, but I actually quite enjoyed it for Yamaguchi. I actually enjoyed it a lot. It's a strange voice, but it's like, he sounded familiar to me, even though I realized after the fact I'm not familiar with his work. But he's got a very smooth tone of voice that I think kind of works for his character. I do definitely enjoy it. He's got some very funny moments where he's trying to either be comedic or trying to get comedic stuff working, and it fails miserably. And also when he realizes that the main character is, of course, his comedic rival, he's like, oh no, God. But he's got some very weird segments that I quite enjoyed throughout the show. And just Jason Douglas and Greg Ayres, yeah, Jason Douglas straight up, that is his Beerus voice he is using, as he is basically playing a pampered rich boy who's using daddy's influence to try and be a cool guy in front of all of his cool friends, only to realize he's messed up. And Greg Ayres is just, yeah, you're right, that is a big boy Greg Ayres voice, and he just wants people to notice him. His struggle is so real, and I admire it. I think Jason and Greg are absolutely hilarious together, and I enjoy them getting to bounce off each other, as well as the the regular ensemble of the show throughout. I think they are very strange characters, and they make me laugh. Also, since these are all regular characters, they get really weird visual things done with, like, their appearance and their hair. Where it's like, they will just randomly, like, stretch their face, or make, like, Yamaguchi, they just make his afro grow, like, 3 times in random shots.
I was very disappointed. Like, in the intro, it showed his afro, like, the size of a plane, and I was very disappointed
And, like, raining shit.
I was disappointed that throughout the show that it didn't just get progressively bigger and stay that length throughout the entire duration of the show.
Yamaguchi has a very Bobobo energy to him.
Oh,
he fucking does.
He does,
don't bring
doesn't
that
he?
energy into this house.
I will, because I think it's amazing. Like, I see him, like, and Bobobo being in the same room and not being able to tell the difference. It's great. Anyways, I'm done. I really like Jason and Greg. James is pretty neat, and Jacob, I admittedly don't remember what he sounds like.
Nice. Admittedly, I don't quite remember June's personality. Well, no, I do remember the personality, because, yeah, like you said, he's kind of got a sprinkle of douchebag in him. And, but what makes him stand out is just that he's got a bit of a higher pitched badass voice compared to the lower voice guys that, some more that we'll talk about. But it does work off pretty well off of, James's Yamaguchi. I actually didn't find it all that, stilted as a performance. Like, trying to balance being a badass and wanting to be a comedy writer, like, that's kind of enduring. In fact, if you like that concept, and, like, if you like the idea of a delinquent who has, like, an actual ambition and wants to go into a career or something, I highly recommend checking out School Rumble, because the lead character in that is also a sunglass-wearing delinquent who has a more tender side to him that they play mostly for comedy, but it's also kind of sentimental at times, so give that show a check if you haven't before. Back onto this show, though, Yamaguchi's entire conceit of trying to make it in comedy while also being a gang leader is kind of what this show is about, because as much as we look down upon the delinquents, as we should, you know, what with their uncut hair and their motorcycles and their foul language, as much as we look down upon them, they have conviction. They really believe in what they're standing for. They are rebelling against the system, or they feel the need to defend their honor and take out the rival school members. Like, they have something they are working for. They are incredibly stupid and full of rocks for brains to get to that level, but we still feel bad for him about that. And James's conceit of trying to get the best jokes on the air and completely spinning his wheels on his hamster wheel of life because, you know, he can't get the better jokes off Honey Boy. It's just really, really sad and fun to watch, and I'm so glad that he was in the show. That is kind of where I started to turn onto liking the show, because I realized, aw, look at the idiots. It's so sad, but I enjoy watching them. And speaking of idiots, oh god, we gotta talk about, we gotta, wait, dang it, I lost my spot here. What is his name?
Akuto?
We gotta talk about Akuto. Because there is something to be said for, yes, being pampered rich boy who wants to rule the world, wants to be the bosses of Japan, and not really having the street smarts to get it done, but still pretending like he does. And that whole thing, like that entire contrast they had with Greg Ayres, it's just, again, it's very fun to watch. Like, you watch a show not always because you cheer for the characters' as end goal or because you like them as a person, but because if they have a goal that they are working for, that just makes them that much more cheerable, even if they're absolutely moron. Like, with these characters, like this one, this would be a himbo, or, this would be a himbo, right, Megan?
Does he respect women?
There are almost no women in this show. There's only one woman that shows up, and she's being rescued, so...
I am torn, because on the one hand, they're delinquents, which suggests no, but some of them also aren't very delinquentish, which suggests maybe. It's unclear.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to suggest that they've actually done anything wrong. You know? So yeah, Jason's composed and in-control voice, you know, fits perfectly well with the character. Greg Ayres, I mean, it's Greg Ayres, what do you want me to say? The dude's got he's a good actor, and who just happens to have a very distinct voice. probably don't need me to tell you what he sounds like. You already know what he sounds like. You're hearing him say, "No, I'm
Greg
Jewish"
Ayers
in
cool
your head.
AF, though.
What?
Greg Ayers is cool as fuck, though.
He is.
Yes.
I would never say a bad thing about him. Never. I lost my spot here. Oh yeah. So basically, goal of the show, try out for baseball. That's what I was trying to get at with this whole segment. Amon, your turn.
Okay. Let's see. I'm in agreement about Jacob. I kind of found him entertaining because his bad comedy was kind of funny in of itself because it was just so lame and ill-conceived and like not actually all that funny. Also, I liked it whenever Yamaguchi would like hit him and he turned to like a little like super deformed doll version of himself. It's always a sucker for a good visual gag. I also like James Faulkner as Yamaguchi. I think part of it is I like his tone very well. Like this is a voice I would like to hear explain like the ins and outs of comedy to me on maybe a podcast or a soothing documentary on Netflix or something like that.
The history of like a 10-part. Oh god, what's that one director who makes really long documentaries?
Oh,
Ken Burns.
Ken Burns.
Yep, a 10-part Ken Burns documentary on comedy hosted by this guy.
I mean, James Faulkner would have a good Ken Burns documentary voice, so that's not wrong.
If you ever want to see the best parody of Ken's Burn anything ever, there's an episode of Community that is literally just a fucking Ken Burns documentary.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's the I forget because Community's all on Netflix now. It's the Pillow Fort episode, so like there are episodes of Community like you can just watch out of fucking context. Just because they are absolutely hysterical parodies of, like, things. The fucking Ken Burns Civil War one is great.
I was a filthy casual when Community was in its heyday, and I didn't watch it. I watched The Big Bang Theory.
First of all, go on Netflix and watch at least the first 4 seasons of Community.
But I gotta watch Tiger King again. I've only seen it 10 times.
No more Tiger
There's
King!
There's more episodes! There's, like, a follow-up episode. Where they're like,
no, don't you dare give the Tiger King more views.
Well, he's in jail, so what does it matter?
You stop that.
You stop that.
Also, I enjoyed Yamaguchi just because I found something very entertaining about his absolute insistence on viewing every scenario in his life through the lens of how would this be funny, even when it made absolutely no sense given what's going on. And I thought James, in his weird way, kind of sold that, like, weird mono-focused nerd aspect of just like that would be the like where he's on the train, he's thinking about like hearing the announcement. It's like, no, it wouldn't be funny if they followed up with that. And it's like, the train announcements, no one except you is wondering if they're funny or not.
I also appreciate the fact that he completely creates an entire backstory about the gorilla working at the sushi restaurant, only for the owner to come in and be like, who the hell is that? Why is there a gorilla?
And then the next episode gives the fucking story.
Yeah.
Wait, is this still Cromartie? You are still watching an episode of Cromartie High School.
Yeah, that was great. The scroll at the bottom.
But I think as we've all mentioned, the standouts in this segment are Jason Douglas and Greg Ayers as Hakuto and Hakuto's lackey. They're great. They play off each other so well. They're so funny. Jason Douglas just sounds like he is 30, which is exactly how that character should sound like. And Greg, I think Greg is frequently hilarious in a lot of things he's in, but I have nothing else I enjoy him here for being the one character in this silly comedy who has any moments of actual pathos, and more or less being able to nail that even as the show completely undermines him at every possible turn, to the point that aliens show up and undermine his ability to say what his name is.
It's so sad.
You feel for him, it breaks your heart.
All he wants to do is just say his name.
Alexa, play Despacito.
And before we move, can we? One last thing to mention on Taniguchi is that he gives us one great thing he gives us, and this is only great in hindsight, is that he has a butler character.
Yes.
Who is basically just criminal. Wait, how do you say it?
Gentle Criminal.
Gentle Criminal is just John doing that voice 15 years before the character was even created.
It really is.
And that's the Cruel Angel's tease. I will pay good fucking money for Josh Carmillion to say that in the Gentle Criminal voice.
Maybe he's on Cameo, who knows?
God, I will fucking do it.
God bless. Okay.
Alright. On to our next group of characters, which unfortunately we must start on a down note. One of the characters in the show is a character named Shinjiro Hayashida. He has the purple mohawk. After the lead, he's probably one of the most prominent characters there. And unfortunately, he's played by an actor named Ilrich Guardiola, who used to have a fairly well-known career in anime voice acting, but unfortunately now he's just known for being a huge creep. In 2014, he was arrested for sexual assault of a minor when it was learned that he had to start a relationship with a 16-year-old that he was teaching drama to, and they apparently got married. These charges ended up being dropped, but he has basically vanished off the face of the earth. No one really wants to work with him for obvious reasons. Normally we would just skip him, but his character is prominent enough that we figured we should at least address that he's in this. And we will briefly talk about his performance, not him, obviously. He's awful. Just in the name of thoroughness. If you do not want to listen to us talk about him, you can skip to the time code that is either on the screen right now if you're watching on YouTube, or is in the description if you're listening to this on Podbean or some other audio platform. Quickly, round robin. He's a creep, but how is he in the show?
He's actually, like, one of the better performers in this show.
It sucks, doesn't it, right?
It absolutely sucks balls.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually one of the more believable high school boy voices. He does a great job. His comedic timing is great. I love the fucking part where he's talking to the actual Takanoichi, and you find out that the mohawk is a wig.
Oh, yeah.
That was a pretty interesting twist. Yeah,
he just takes it off.
That was foreshadowed in the school exam episode where they were stripping
Yeah.
down. We actually saw him take it off. I thought it was a one-off
Yeah.
visual gag, but it turns out it wasn't.
Long con. No, so his performance is actually pretty great. It's a shame that it's coming from a person who's a terrible awful person.
I have to bounce off of that and say I do agree that the performance as Hayashida is pretty amusing. The character is very wacky and goofy, and as well as just the general thing is the show does really fun things with his hair continuing to flow and get larger and longer. It's just very...
Takanoichi wanting to go to the Koshien.
Yeah, it's just... He's a very... Also, this character wanted to play baseball and never committed to playing baseball. Like, he also just straight up leaves people for 3 hours in the woods to go get instant ramen, being like, oh, we don't have hot water. Oops. He's kind of an idiot. He's a very funny character, and I will say that the performance is indeed a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's one of the ones that could have been botched the most because he's supposed to have a very serious personality, but what he's serious about is very farcical. So I like the fact that it was given a professional voice that didn't mock the content it was being spoken of. He also modulates more than most of your characters. Like, most of your characters stay down in the Clancy Brown voice like this. Maybe not that low, but still lower than you expect a high schooler to sound at. But he gets to go up and down all over the place. He's kind of contemplating, either going out for football or baseball or anything else going on in the absurdity that is Cromartie High School. So yeah, it is actually a very good performance that, as you said, kind of tainted in retrospect.
Yeah, no, I'm in strong agreement. Like, it is a good performance for this character, especially for how much this character shows up. He plays well with the other actors, and it's sad that like this guy is a creep and a scumbag. And I'm at least glad that he's like not in the industry anymore. The fact that he more or less vanished off the face of the earth after that, at least he's not still getting work or whatever. But it is sad that this performance does have to have that baggage with it from now on. And with that out of the way, let's get back to talking about fun things that don't involve terrible people. Hello, people who skipped to the time code. It's glad to have you back again.
Welcome back, ESPN viewers.
Yep. On to the rest of the group. We have Akira Maeda. He's a big blonde dude. He's one of the toughest dudes around. He has never lost a fight, but he never had a cool nickname in middle school, so no one takes him seriously. He is constantly belittled and made fun of, more or less for that reason. Also, his mom occasionally shows up, who looks just like him with frizzy hair. It's a little unsettling. Also, he apparently shares his name with a professional wrestler, which I do believe is entirely on purpose. That sounds like a thing you do.
Yeah, because
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have Yakataka Takanuchi. He's big, he's bald, he's tough, he's mean. He gets motion sick on moving vehicles. He started going to Cromartie because it was close enough that he could just walk there every morning. He thwarts an entire hijacking just because he doesn't want to go on a plane.
Me.
That's a mood right there.
That's
It's
just me back
100%
before I
mood.
started traveling for cons.
And he also shares his name with a somewhat known actor in Japan. Apparently, the only thing I've seen him in is Shin Godzilla, but he has had a career for a while, so that's interesting. And lastly, we have my favorite character, Shinichi Mekazawa.
No kidding.
Mekazawa is a robot. Not a
No,
But
he's
don't tell.
not-
Are you
not-
sure? Don't tell him
and
that.
not like a
Okay.
It's
convincing.
like Yuri from Double Decker.
He's not a convincing lifelike robot like you get in Megan, is it Idolish 7 that has the robot?
No, that's Utama Prince
Thank you.
Sama.
Not a convincing robot like you get in your Otama Prince Samas. No. He's like a he is a cylindrical can of food shaped robot with clamps and pincers. But he has such a soothing voice that he manages to fool almost everybody.
Holy
And
shit!
anybody who isn't fooled is just, they can't bring himself to point it out because it just seems kind of rude. They want someone else to do it first.
No, hold on now. I'm imagining I from Udapri with the little Mekazawa voice.
So what
if I
you're
remember correctly, incidentally, if I remember correctly, Beta Mekazawa, the little Mekazawa is played. That's Lucy Christian going Mekareka.
yeah, I could hear it.
Probably.
Mekareka.
Oh, fuck, Jackson, if you edit this, you need to put together that as a clip for me. Of just I going, Mekareka.
Oh. Playing these roles, Maeda is played by Andy McGavin, who you know for playing roles such as Ichiro Ichan Mihara in Angelic Lair, Kimura in Azumanga Daioh, and Prime Minister Oizumi in Naruma Daikon Brothers.
Wait, did you say he was Wiggly Ichan?
You bet
Yeah.
you're Wiggly Ichan.
Wiggly Ichan!
I wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Wiggle! Andrew sitting here like the fuck?
I'm very confused, yes.
The great.
Oh, that's right, you have to do the fucking Angelic Lair
You want to
episode
talk
with
about
me.
robot? You want to talk about robot show? That's a fucking robot show.
There you go.
Mekareka!
So, put that audio clip with Hikari while doing the dance. I'm so-
Takanuchi. No, Takanuchi is played by John Gramillion, who's played such roles as Peregrine Bruce in the Kairi Ragtime Show, Toei in Dramatical Murder, and Daiju Mononobe in Eden of the East.
Who the fuck did you say he was in Dramatical Murder?
Toei,
I
I've
gotta
never
look this
actually
up now.
watched it.
Oh god, is he
He
the
was-
fucking...
Was he the?
You're the one who's seen Dramatical Murder, not me.
It's
no.
been a while!
Yeah, I'm gonna say he was the nicer one, but I
Big
think
quotation marks around nice there.
he was.
No, he's the bad guy. Yeah, no, he's the fucking bad guy!
So he's not one of the main dateable boys.
No, he's the one that's got your fucking, conjoined twin locked in a tower.
Oh, okay. I thought he was the one who tried to look badass, but was actually a big softie, whose name I can't remember.
No, that's Dave Petrenga!
Okay, thank you. That again, it's been a while. That was what? That was episode 20 of this podcast.
Yeah, that was a fucking while.
That was multiple administrations and several children ago. So no, I haven't thought about it in a while.
The only thing stranger than Cromartie High is talking about out-of-context dramatical murder.
Yeah, I'm blinking white guy gif over here.
Oh no!
Which is fun, because Megan has explained Dramatical Murder to me several times, and it always finds a new way to surprise and shock me. It's really impressive.
Have I told you about the
legitimately, my
part
local
where your
public
nipples
library
get
has a
licked
copy
by
of
a
it.
robot lion? Because that's the thing that
There-
happens.
Which was that included in the home video?
Yeah, no, Amon, you've seen the
Oh
OVA!
yeah, no, she showed me it. It's
Oh.
a time.
I couldn't remember if it was packaged with the.
Yeah, that's because next year when the plague is gone and we can all go back to Anime Boston, we're gonna get really shit-faced with Brainchild and watch that.
All I can think about is that Chris Ayers had to direct his brother making blowjob noises. That must have been a fun time to have.
No, it was the other way around. It was
Sorry, the
Greg.
other way
It was
around.
Greg.
Family
It was
bonding.
Chris directing Greg.
Yeah, it was family bonding experience.
Oh my god.
Family bondage experience, you mean?
Mm.
Oh god.
Speaking of
And
bondage,
Mekazawa
Yeah.
is played by Jay Hickman, who's known for playing Watanabe in Excel Saba, Joichiro Yukihara in Food Wars, Chu in One Piece, and
Say it.
in Cromartie High School. In the credits of every episode he appears in, he gets the coveted and credit because he is just that good.
He's just that good.
Because Mecha fucking Zawa.
He is the
Fucking
celebrity guest on this sitcom of errors.
Good for him.
100%.
Which is really funny because when I was paying attention to the sub credits, do you know who fucking plays Mechazawa in the subs?
Who?
It's not.
Norio fucking Wakamoto.
Okay, that was literally gonna be the first thing I was gonna guess as a joke, and then it turned out to be right. Holy crap.
No.
It's Norio Wakamoto didn't fucking orphan into existence in Udapri to be disrespected like that.
Okay, now I'm white guy blinking.
I'm also white guy blinking.
Okay, look. I keep saying this. Y'all need to fucking watch Udapri because his character, Norio Wakamoto's character in Udapri is a fucking trip.
Is Udapri the one with the flight sequence and the Camus?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Fine.
It's
I'll
the
fucking
flight
watch it.
sequence and
I'll sit down.
You have to go. You have to buy the first season now because it fucking came off High Dive for some god-awful reason.
Yeah, they lost Haikyuu as well.
Yeah, High Dive, please announce when you're losing shit. For the love of God.
I don't... Yeah, that's weird.
Okay.
I'm already talking, so I'm going. I'm gonna save Mechazawa for last because I'm about to destroy Noah's fucking childhood with this one.
Oh boy.
Would.
Andy McAvin, sounds like a 40-year-old chain smoker, but it works. If being Yamaguchi is suffering, so is being Maeda. Like, poor Maeda, just, nobody fucking loves Maeda. They don't even remember his goddamn birthday. They keep mistaking his mom for him, which, in hindsight, is a very dated joke and not actually that funny. But he does a good job playing, like, the kind of, like, fuck this shit noise. He's, like, the other straight man in this shit, and he's just like, I fucking want to be here. So he's very good and grumbly. John Gramillion as, Takano Uchi. I would have never actually guessed that was John Gramillion, because I am literally only used to hearing him as Gentle Criminal right now.
Yeah.
I'm so used to the more, like, suave kind of accenty voice. So this was a really big departure, and I actually thought he sounded pretty good. He also does not sound like a 16-year-old.
Nope.
At fuck it all. But I thought he was really good in this. Mechazawa.
Fine. Do it.
I literally could not unhear Muto from Princess Tutu the entire time.
But I wouldn't give her some underwear.
Exactly. It literally is just fucking Muto from Princess Tutu. It is Muto unhinged.
With just as much organic heart as well.
Ooh, that's a deep cut.
Look.
That's a deep cut, Noah Clue.
Muto, like, you thought Muto was all fun and cute for the first part of the show, but once he started getting that heart back, he kind of turned into a bastard. And it wasn't just because of the Raven blood.
In short, watch Princess Tutu.
Okay.
Just...
Oh god, that's...
I cannot unhear Chris Patton and Jay Hickman making gay jokes.
Punishment.
I understand, I say as I don't understand.
No, like... Okay, look, I can hear I can hear kind of Jonichiro. I forgot that he's, like, the... Yeah, no, he is the hottest dad in Food Wars.
He's the hottest character in Food Wars, objectively.
I mean, Hinako's pretty good, too, but... Yeah, he's no Jonichiro. Yeah, I want Soma's dad's sausage pretty bad. No, Jay as Mechazawa is great. I also love when he gets really pissed and becomes a motorcycle. The fucking Mechazawa motorcycle shit is hysterical. It's some of the best bits in the show, and Jay is one of the best performances in the show, because Jay also kind of... Jay doesn't sound like a 16-year-old, but he sounds younger than everybody else, and that's fine with me.
So, Amon, did you watch any of this in sub?
God, no.
Because I wanted to know...
I could never watch this show in Japanese.
But I wanted to know if anyone has seen this. Even in the comments, if you've seen this in Japanese. Let me know. Did they actually give Mechazawa, like, a mechanical voice? Or did they give just a human voice?
I feel like he would just have a human voice.
I feel like
I mean, it's Norio Wakamoto. They probably just told him to go in, and go buck wild.
Like, the whole
Here's
thing
the
about
worst
him having I was gonna say, the whole thing about him having a soothing voice, it's like, it
Go
needs to just sound like a soothing voice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That he doesn't have a filter in the English suggests to me that he doesn't have a having in the Japanese either. Although having not seen the sub, I can't say that for sure.
Okay, so we'll research this later.
Yeah, there'll be a little button on screen informing you as to whether we are wrong or not. Andrew, is it your turn or are you going now? I've lost track of time.
I believe it is my turn, actually. Okay, so I'm not familiar with Andy McGavin, but I actually think he does a pretty good job sounding like the very stern straight man that Maeda is. Because he's basically like the actual toughest guy of their group, but everybody just treats him like he's a loser, which is so sad. It's so sad. He just... Also, I was genuinely losing it when he's trying to take care of the animals, and they're like, you gotta be cat for a week.
Oh, God.
And then he's like, okay, how are you today? Yeah.
Fun fact, when the character, the Digikirat character shows up, that is, in the Japanese at least, that was the original voice. Not so much in the English dub, because I believe Digikirat was a California dub.
Wait, that was an actual anime character?
Yes!
Unfortunately, yes. There was a... history lessons. Let me put it this way to you, Andrew.
I feel like this entire episode has been an excuse for all of you to gush about old ADV shit.
And it wasn't even that long ago. It was only 15 years ago. Oh, dear God, that was 15 years ago.
Holy shit.
Okay, so Andy is very amusing as this butt monkey who's trying his best to be cool, but I just love the whole thing where he's just like, nya. But he's genuinely just this tough guy who he's trying... Like, it feels like his friends do like him, they're just terrible at showing it, because they celebrate his birthday, where just... I think that's another thing I really love about the show, is the really stern happy birthday they give him, is like, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, scumbag. And I'm like, yeah, that's friendship. And they're like, my birthday was last month?
It was last year.
It was a week ago.
It was a week ago, but
No, it was last month.
It's too sweet, I can't stop him. But yeah, no, I think Andy's got a very interesting voice. I was very impressed and surprised to learn that Takanuchi was John Gramillion. I did not think that was John Gramillion at all. He's got a really, really deep, like, 45-year-old man voice for this character, and it really works that he's just very stern, gruff, angry badass who just gets motion sick. Also, that scene of Kameyama just straight up like messing with him on the bus is like it's some Looney Tunes shit that they were playing with that moment.
Oh fuck that! And when they fuck with him on the train.
Oh, the train sucks so much.
Train.
Like I'm not even motion sick, and I felt for the guy in that moment. I'm like, oh my god, you poor bastard. But no, John Gramillion was delightful as this tough badass who can't even be bothered with a plane ride. But Jay Hickman as Mekazawa is straight up... No, I was kidding. Remember when I said nobody in the show is sexy? I was wrong. Bike Mekazawa is fucking hot.
Broom, broom, baby.
I'd rev his engine if you know what I'm saying.
Really glad that Stephanie's got her headphones in.
It's what it is. I've said worse. I've said much worse. Who are you fucking kidding?
That's true.
Anyways, no, Jay Hickman just has a very soothing, chill, relaxed voice, and nobody questions that he's a robot until it's like they can't really ignore it anymore. They straight up just turn him off at some point, and he becomes a refrigerator, and they reset him, and they also like give him factory settings that connect to the internet. They're so mean to Mekazawa, but god,
they can make Mekazawa connect to Faku.
That is such a mid-2000s thing, though. The excitement at being able to connect to the internet. It didn't used to be...
Oh wait, no, they connect him to fanfiction.net.
Oh god, yeah. But no, just Mekazawa, like Jay Hickman just has this very soothing, relaxing, sexy voice for this literal tin can robot that was basically made in like on like $5. But oh my god, the scene where he's on a when he's on a bike and Kameyama is riding him on a bike, and he gets...
I wonder if there's tags.
Do you want me to ride you like a motorcycle Mechazawa's in?
Oh my! Oh my god! Ugh.
She wants a cool ride.
Megan tells on me a lot on episodes. It's mean.
But now I'm just here in real time to get at you when she texts me these things.
Tell Stephanie her motorcycle noises suck.
No. Anyways, no, Jay Hickman is delightful, and he's very, very fun as Mechazawa, who is probably one of the best characters in the show. If not the best.
I also like the part where they accidentally open Mechazawa's little brother like a fucking cat.
They keep killing his brother, it's so...
Oh no!
Also, they used him as a cell phone at some point.
They used to call me on my cell phone.
Mecha.
If you're a fan of ours and you're more talented with editing software, do a version of Hotline Bing where the keyboard riff is just replaced with Mecha, like chopped up to the rhythm.
Mecha.
Jackson!
Oh no. God damn it. Anyways, I'm done.
Jackson actually got his own episode in Cromartie High School. Episode 10 is just called Jackson.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to imagine that was on purpose. That was in anticipation.
Wait, was Jackson the guy who was fighting the troll, or was that the guy with the nose hair?
No, that was the guy with the nose hair, and who was continuously amazed at the things that were going on at Cromartie. Like, well, I suppose next you're going to tell me that, what was it? He was saying, you'll never believe it. There's this vending machine here, and it doesn't even take 100 yen coins. But it's actually Mechazawa. And, like, do you have a horse?
Oh, when he's like, there's like a horse?
Yeah. Well, I suppose next you're going to tell me there's aliens. Yeah, we got those too.
There's quite a few of those by the end of the series. There's just a lot of UFOs just chilling in the background.
Nothing ever comes from... maybe there's something in the manga, but nothing comes from that meteor that crashes into the school either.
Maybe that's why they're all so fucking weird. Maybe there's just another meteor behind the school.
Sounds about right. Anyways, I'm done.
I'm also not very familiar with Andy's track record before. I'm looking through his ANN page, and it's lots of things that I've heard of. Because, back in the day, before Japan got crazy and started producing 20 shows a day, there was a smaller amount of content to keep track of, so you could at least recognize the names of some of these shows. Never got around to watching some of them, most of them, but for this particular show, he sounds good. He's got a slight rasp that conveys not just that he's on the older side of teenagers, but also that he's tougher. I do get the sensation from watching this that if these characters stop trying to be delinquents.
We live in most our life, living in delinquents' paradise. I'm way too white to sing that.
You could sing White and Nerdy.
I was gonna say...
I don't know the words to that.
Why would you say white and nerdy and not Amish Paradise?
Can't do that one either.
Okay,
yeah, you're not Amish enough for that. Actually, are there any Amish in Florida?
Look...
Actually, apparently, according to an old friend of mine, there's an area, right outside where she lives, and it's basically just called Amish Vegas, because it's where they come to do all the, bad things, like drive cars and, use technology.
Speaking of Amish, Amon, tell your girlfriend I said hi.
Okay.
What?
Hi, Natasha!
Well, I mean,
my girlfriend once had to go on a work trip to Amish country, and she did not care for it.
Hi, Natasha.
I can't imagine that would be as fun. Except maybe as a novelty.
No, not when you're hurting senior citizens.
Oh, well, that's not fun anywhere.
Nope.
That's not exactly an Amish-only problem.
Nope.
Not to say that we won't be, ourselves that way when we're old. I can fully see us in the future. We'll be on episode 3000 in the nursing home, still doing this podcast. Absolutely nothing will have changed.
Nope.
Except that our livers don't work anymore. Anyways, Andy does good on this, and it really conveys a lot of the heart of the show that they don't mock the character. Well, they mock the character in the show for being, he's the butt of a lot of the jokes, but he's got some convictions to him. He actually conveys a lot of the teenage anxieties about, what am I going to do when I grow up? Or, I don't feel like my vote matters, or that I really do need to start working towards something that is more important than just being a delinquent in a school. And, props to him for that. It's not just a comedy of errors. There's actually some heart to it. And I think Andy gets the most heartfelt parts of the show because he's just that pathetic. John Grimillion, I would like to point out one of my favorite roles he's ever played, which is his starring role in Panty and Stocking as Coctimus Prime. Wonderful little indie show. I am so sad that Gynax doesn't exist anymore, but that was a wonderful Optimus Prime parody. Thank you, John, for giving us that character. He gave us basically our best, what's his name? Peter Cullen impression in that show, which is a little closer to this show than Gentle Criminal, honestly. It's a very low.
I never said it was close to Gentle Criminal. Like, that's the thing I can remember Josh Grimillion being in right now.
And to be fair, I'm also going through his cast list, and there's also a lot of things he's in that I don't recognize. I think the one show I recognize the most for him in is Kino's Journey, where he was only credited as Working Stiff in episode 5, which I think is the episode where he's in the world of people who don't have to work, but they work anyways, and so they work like these horrible brain aneurysm-inducing corporate jobs. It's not at all close to the show at all, but I've at least heard him in something before. And in this show, he does a really good job. I like the fact that, and Megan and I have talked about this in our shows before, where if you've got fat characters, like not just big, but like obese characters.
Yeah,
in the character in Stars Align, whose name I can't remember, isn't a departure from that. But in other times, like in was it Kiss Him Not Me, or was that another show that the character...
I think you're thinking of Little Witch Academia.
Well, that was one example, but there's another one where basically large characters are given like kind of whale-ish sounding voices. That's really...
No, they actually avoid doing that in Kiss Him Not Me.
Okay, that's what it was. Thanks.
At least in the dub, they don't really do that in the sub.
You're right, and you're right, Andrew. In Little Witch Academia, they do use that stereotype. So to do that on the male side of things, John gives him not a whale-ish sounding voice, like you can understand perfectly well what he's saying, and it's the kind of voice that you would be intimidated by in almost any setting, which is fitting for the character because he just looks kind of scary, and he is kind of scary, but he's still kind of soft deep down. Like he's got some compassion for. Anytime we see him, his entire shtick is not just that he's the leader of the delinquents of Class 1, which he is, but he's also got deeper thoughts, and he's trying to be compassionate for his friends around him. He's like he's a good bro. Like, he is a bro to his friends around him. And John conveys that niceness to him, while also conveying the getting motion sick part, which, maybe that's not a funny joke. It's not a laugh out loud funny kind of joke, but you do get some amusement out of seeing the various ways that we can fuck with this character by putting him on moving vehicles. My absolute favorite is, let's have a birthday party on a boat. I'm on a boat. Everybody take a look at the motherfucking boat. That was amusing. And as amusing was also Jay Hickman as Mekazawa. He's good. It was everything you guys said already was pretty much covers it already. Like, we had one hot character voice in the show, and they gave it to Jay Hickman. That is indeed very amusing, and it's a step up from Giraffe.
Accurate.
What?
Mekazawa is the hottest character in the show.
I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, you said that you can turn anything to a fleshlight, and I would just say that you did a good job.
Oh dear.
Nah, you don't go fleshy with Mekazawa. You take the whole cold exterior, or you get the fuck out.
Excuse me, Mekazawa would not be a fleshlight. He'd be a vibrator.
There it is. That's more accurate.
I'm sorry, Amon.
No, you're
It's
not.
alright.
Don't lie.
I'm shitting on your childhood. I'm sorry.
I was a teenager when this came out. I was not a child.
I'm shitting on your teenagerdom.
No, that's fine.
No,
If it makes you feel any better, I'll invite you on my birthday episode yet again, and you can just shit on me the entire time.
You know very well I will not do no such thing.
Amon,
That's...
you are the most wholesomely nice person I have ever met.
Yeah, say that after we do the Gleipnir episode, Andrew.
You know what, Amon? I will do the Gleipnir episode for you.
Hooray, I get to force my friends to watch weird fetish porn.
Yay!
Amon, I mean this in full sincerity. I would watch weird fetish porn with you. That is how much of a cool guy you are. I would absolutely do that for you.
You're all very
Hell yeah,
kind.
fetish porn back!
Amon, for your birthday, I want you to know everybody here at Dub Talk loves you and appreciates you enough to watch weird fetish porn for you.
You're very
Amon,
sweet.
did we just make a blood pact to watch weird fetish porn together?
Hell yeah,
Yes.
let's all watch Sallow.
Hell yeah!
No.
No. I don't know what you said, but no.
There are like
Fetish porn, blood pact,
four
fetish
movies that
porn,
I'm never
blood
going
pact.
to watch, and Sallow is one of them. No, thank you. I like having a fun time at the movies.
Are we gonna watch Caligula then?
We can watch
That
Caligula,
is
that's
fun. That
Yay!
is a fun pornish movie.
That and Hermes Wings of Love again. We can finally finish that fucker.
There we go.
Okay.
We will not be marathoning all of Chargeman Ken though. I draw a line.
Damn it!
I draw a line.
That's fair. Anyways.
So yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
What were we talking about?
We're
Jay
talking about
Hickman is
characters.
awesome as the vibrator of the show. I mean the robot of the show.
Thank you, Noah.
Alright, Andy's really funny. He is so wonderfully pathetic as Maeda, who just wants to be taken marginally seriously and isn't even allowed to have that happen to him. He's very... I especially like him... I like the whole bit where he's like, you gotta take care of the animals. And he's like, none of you people want to take care of the animals. Why do I have to do it? He's fun. You know, I think he's very fun there, especially. John Gramillion's just a hoot. It is so funny watching this guy just, like, try to not throw up. I like the bit with the taxi. The taxi one's kind of the highlight of that for me, because it's just so endlessly stupid.
We could have
So
gotten
bad
there
for him.
faster by walking.
Oh god, that guy is like my fucking nightmare if I ever go to New York again.
We appear to be in the countryside now. This is
We
where
seem
my
to be getting
parents
close.
live.
Fuck did we end up in the Poconos?
I fully expected like the mustached waiter from Monty Python, The Meaning of Life, to show up.
It has that feeling, doesn't it? But we must now talk about the best part of the show, which is Jay Hickman going vroom, vroom, while Mekazawa has been turned into a motorcycle. Because it's this smooth, dignified voice going vroom, vroom, and it is hysterical. If there is one moment in the show that will make me laugh out loud, it is just Jay Hickman making motorcycle noises. Also, he's great in general for he's so smooth all the time, which just makes him objecting to being treated like a robot all the funnier.
But he's not a robot.
So he says.
How many robots do you know that wear a Guts t-shirt?
Well, just the one, I guess.
I still don't know why he was wearing a Guts shirt.
Cause he's a tough delinquent guy, and they're about guts.
Oh, I thought he was just a really, really big Berserk fan.
Possible. I'm sure delinquents like Berserk. Seems like a thing they'd like. So yeah, Jay is absolutely great. He's maybe my favorite performance, he's so smooth. It's like a Doobie Brothers song. You gotta love it.
Are we talking about like in their peak Doobie Brothers, right?
I'm talking about the Michael McDonald years. Whether or not you consider that peak Doobies is for you to figure out.
That is peak. That is, yes, absolutely. And that is
I find that
believes.
Amon,
That is what a fool believes.
Amon, I find that statement very dubious.
I'll give that a 3 out of 10.
Thank you.
Hold on a second. I'm going to pull up the... I don't have time for it. Just imagine putting the losing horn sound from The Price is Right here.
Fair enough.
Wah, 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 wah.
Wow.
So, since we're all tired, let's go on to our last character so we can wrap this up. It is past midnight. We're all sleepy, so let's get through this. Our lead,
Yourself,
Happy
I'm high on life.
birthday!
our lead, the poor knucklehead this is all happening to, is a man named Takashi Kamiyama. He's not a delinquent. As they mentioned in the show, if you want to know why he's there, you should read the manga. And I was able to track down that chapter. And apparently, he made a pact with a delinquent friend of his who thought he was too stupid to get in any high school. He's like, "Why go to Cromartie? They're dumb." And he said, like, man, they're not for me. It's like, hey, we'll both go to Cromartie. It'll be great. And he got into Cromartie. And his friend didn't because he's too stupid to even pass the Cromartie entrance exam, which is why he's stuck here by himself.
That's pretty funny.
So that wasn't the
he
that wasn't the middle school friend that he sees in like episode.
No, not the
whatever.
not the one named Tabata. Who now that I think about it, I think his face is actually written for the hiragana for Tabata. No, this is a different one who I don't think shows up. He doesn't show up at all.
Okay.
But he writes to his mother about how he's scared of these people. And he shares his name with a professional golfer, which I find hilarious. And he is played by Ben Protsky. You know for such roles as Yutaka Zaito in Dragon Pilot, Hisone and Masatan, Saber of Black in Fate Apocrypha, and Hangei in Super Milk John. Megan, start us off.
So, by the way, I only know Ben Promsky from shit in California because I literally wanted to fuck his character in Fate Apocrypha.
Alright then.
Off to a good start.
Ask Andrew! I literally have a post on our Anime Dubs Discord that just says I want him to stick his saber of black in me, and somebody was like, and I'm like, shut up and let me be horny, goddammit.
That got pinned. Anyways, yes, I can verify her statement that she wants to fuck that character.
Siegfried is big and beefy, and I love him.
Also, you have a thing for dragons anyway, so...
I still don't know how Fate Apocrypha fucked up becoming a dragon, but that's another story for another day when I'm, like, less high on life. I'm not drunk, everybody. I swear, I'm just tired. No, so, the only other thing that I literally can remember Ben Promsky in is he's that one little blonde bitch in Violet Evergarden.
Oh, yeah. The one at the observatory, right?
No, he works with, the typey bitches.
Oh, he's part of the main cast. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he's the one that wears the heels. He's the blonde guy.
In the suspenders. I've watched, like, 2 episodes of Violet Evergarden, and I know that guy was Ben Promsky. Man, he fucking rocks this! Like, he sounds like a teenager, he's absolutely hysterical, and his performance was sold for me at the first he ate my pencil.
Mm.
I absolutely love Ben Promsky as Kamiyama. He is both straight man and absurdist provocateur. And Ben gets all of those facets to him in a way that doesn't come off as, like, super douchey and super obnoxious, unless the show calls for it. So, like, A+, 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's just... Kamiyama is just a very strange lead character in that he embodies a variety of different emotions in the show, and he's just a very wacky character. I genuinely was surprised to find out Ben Pronsky apparently did some various ADV dubs, because I pretty much always associated him for California stuff, because, like, basically the past decade has been exclusively, like, California or, like, sometimes NYAVA, but that's kind of California, New York, too. So, yeah, no, it was very interesting to see him cast as this, but he is hilarious. He is weird. He is strange. He's got weird deliveries. He's got funny deliveries. He's got very kooky moments. He's got very down-to-earth moments. He's made me cackle a few times, and he's just a very strange character that, yeah, no, Ben's definitely, like, one of the stronger performances in the show. He does a great job, and oh my god, I just noticed you changed the fucking name of the Dub Talk chat to Fetish.
Oh god, what'd you do? What?
She literally changed the dub. She literally changed the Dub Talk Twitter chat to Fetish Porn Blood Pack.
And the caption you had to use was a subtitled image that just says, "I kind of pissed myself while I was inside of you."
That's from Glepnir!
That's Gleipnir, alright.
That's Glepnir.
Could you have at least waited until...
Oh man, we gotta do Glepnir!
Fetish porn blood pack.
Thank you, sweetie. I'm done with my segment already, so it works out. Anyways, Ben Promsky is wonderful as Kamiyama. I also don't understand why. Does his mother even exist? Does she even exist?
I'm gonna say no for the comedy gag.
I'm going to assume no. I'm going to assume no until proven otherwise. But either way, Ben's great. Anyways, I'm done.
I want tubby custard.
Oh my god, Megan, stop corrupting my girlfriend.
Never!
Alright, we need to wrap this up so Andrew can take care of something. let you figure that out. There is a dynamic in the show when it comes to Kamiyama, is that you assume that he's better than everyone else in the school, that he is, like the poor normal sap who got thrown into this. That is not the case. This is not a situation where, he's just a normal person who is stuck in a delinquent school, because these delinquents are not very smart. And Kamiyama really isn't that smart either. Maybe it's just that he kind of like gradually becomes down to their level, but at least by the halfway point of the show, he fits in way too well with them. And that is something that would be really easy to screw up if you don't have the right acting. Luckily, Ben does kind of have the right voice for this. He's got that mid-tenor range that you expect from a shonen protagonist. His delivery is pretty funny when it needs to be. His deadpan is spot on. And honestly, for the life of me, I don't understand why he doesn't transfer out of this school. And like, dude, you could go on to better schools, but no, he can't. No, this is where he belongs. This is exactly the hamster wheel of life that you will spend your entire life spinning on. I actually don't know Ben from many other things before, although I have been told that I should check out the 2017 Spider-Man show, and he apparently plays Venom on that, so maybe that would be worth
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It was actually a revamp of the show that I haven't checked out yet. I'm sure it's on Disney Plus because they've got just about every Spider-Man show on there. Man, I've been
except the one that actually matters.
Except for the one that was shit canned because Disney didn't want to revamp Spectacular Spider-Man.
Which Ben Diskin was Eddie Brock in that.
Nuts to you, boyo. The one that matters is the one with the Joe Perry theme song.
Oh,
Spider-Man.
That one is, you're right, that one is also missing from there, but it's okay. I mean, it's not great, but it's okay, because they do have the one that has Starfire on it.
It is, hang on, Joe Perry theme song. Is that the one with Neil Patrick Harris?
It's the one from the 90s, dude, the one I grew up with.
Okay.
Oh, is that the one that they used to play on Jetix all the fucking time?
With like the weird wah-wah theme song? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I used to watch the shit out of that too on Jetix.
Remember when Neil Patrick Harris was in a CG Spider-Man show on MTV?
No, that
because
one is
old.
That one is on there.
Is it?
I remember,
it's actually
the only thing I remember Neil Patrick Harrison being in like a TV show with Superman is when he had a musical Batman of Batman.
There are a lot of
that one I have seen.
I'm the music meister.
Oh god, I love that episode too. Oh my god, this is a whole superhero comic tangent cartoon.
Nothing.
Also, if you ever want to talk about the greatest comic book television show musical number, it's the fucking Birds of Prey song.
Oh, the one with all the sexual innuendos?
Man, I gotta...
Yes!
Brave and the Bold was so underappreciated, man.
It was.
Just like this show.
No, did you have more thoughts?
I think that Birds of Prey probably should have gotten a little more attention, but honestly, anything from the WB that they're making around this time period probably needs to be, I don't know, just they need to get off the grimdark thing. Is all I'm saying. That's what I have to say about this show. Get off the grimdark. Go back to happy Brave and the Bold not Spider-Man, Batman. Brave and the Bold Spider-Man, where he interacts with all the different iterations of Spider-Man. Oh wait, they made that. That was called Into the Spider-Verse.
God, I can't wait for movie 2.
My audio will be audited. My audio will be edited at 12 frames per second, because I'm tired, drunk.
I don't have any more.
Noah.
No, Ben Pronsky is good on this, and it's good. Go ahead, birthday boy.
I agree, Ben Pronsky is very good. Kamiyama is the rock that's holding all this stupidity together. If you don't have a good role there, then the whole thing kind of just falls apart on itself. But Ben's great. He's a good straight man when he needs to be. He's good at being really funny in a non-obvious way when he needs to be. He is delightful. I've seen him in other stuff, I guess, although he is not in one of the actors I'm more familiar with, mostly because of the show. I watch a lot of Funimation stuff, less so with California, etc., etc. But he's good, and I'm glad that he's still working because he is hilarious. It's good stuff. And on that, let's go through our final thoughts.
Yes.
Megan, start us off.
I would like to start us off by saying Mekareka! 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 No. Oh man, for as manic as I've been tonight, because I'm hopped up on Mountain Dew and anti-anxiety meds, fuck, I picked a bad time to start going back on my meds again. Fuck, man, I'm tired as shit. No. All jokes aside and all crazy mania aside, I found this to be an oddly relaxing show to watch. It's a weird Dadaist experiment. It's a dub that is a perfect time capsule of early 2000s ADV dubs. It's not perfect. It's not holding up like Bebop or FLCL or Last Exile. Like, if you asked me to put this against, like, a Geneon dub or Bandai dub from that day and age, like, this is nowhere near as strong. But is it perfect for Cromartie High School? Abso-fucking-lutely. Like, for as much as I have my issues with it, like, especially throwing around certain slurs pretty easily, this is a show I would never want to watch in the Japanese. Like, I don't think I could. Like, this is a show that works a lot better in the language that you naturally speak because of the absurdity of it. So, for as flawed as it is and as dated as it is, both because of the show itself and just the way that it was dubbed, I think it does a good job, and it honestly, like, if you just need to kill 2 hours and just, hey, I'm close to getting, like, 450 views on my Mal, and I haven't watched something, like, let this be your fucking 450th credit. In fact, actually make it your 420th credit, or your 69th, or your 6900, or your 6969, or your 666 credit.
Sure.
Yeah, like, no, like, this is also a show that's really hard for me to, like, genuinely recommend to, like, a lot of people, just because, like, there are some people I know who would, like, absolutely fucking eat this up, and then there are people who would look at it and be like, this is too weird. So, I enjoyed it, and I would recommend it to certain people I know, but, like, as a general thing, this is a weird little piece of a show with a dub that's just as weird as it is. I don't think we would get something like this, like, 15 years later.
Yeah. This is... going into that, this is a show that only could exist in, like, the mid-2000s, and I kind of appreciate watching that with that context in mind. It is not a perfect product of a dub, but it is a very entertaining and enjoyable dub all around. I had fun with it. This is a strange show that I could definitely see be hard to recommend, but I also recognize that, like, basically my elevator pitch to this is straight up, hey, do you genuinely enjoy Aqua Teen Hunger Force? Do you like some of Adult Swim's weird early 2000s comedy stuff? Or do you think Pop Team Epic is basically a masterpiece of our time? You'll probably get a kick out of this. Do you hate that Adult Swim style comedy? Do you think Pop Team Epic is stupid? Do you genuinely not care for weird, goofy stuff? You're probably not gonna like this. You're not right or wrong either way. I just know I never would have watched this had it not been the Birthday Boy's time to shine. So thank you, Amon. I appreciate you having me on for this strange experience of Cromartie High.
You're welcome.
And I'm in second that opinion because, again, this was one of those shows that I started and had really no inclinations of finishing it. Just no desire to do so before this. So I thank you for giving us this reason to do it because, I've been one of the few people who have unabashedly said that they like Handshakers and other shows that are really objectively bad, like not even subjectively, objectively bad, but are absolutely riddled with stick it to the system, just break the mold, even if the result of it is really bad. And that kind of is how I feel a bit about Cromartie as well, because it's clearly not trying to fit a niche, it's not trying to fit into the popular niche of what was popular at the time period, or 10 years before it was made, or even 15 years afterwards. It is something that you watch because you are sick of your day-to-day job, where you have to make sense of the world, you have to work with people in a civilized setting, and you have to pay bills with actual money, and cook food with actual ingredients. You want something outside of that realm, break into the world of absurdity, where there are very few rules, and you don't have to make sense of stuff. That is what you watch Cromartie for, and the dub follows suit. I am glad that they did not make a gag out of this. They could have very easily punched up the absurdity levels of this and made farcical pop culture references, or threw in a Jayonce clip in there somewhere to reference our prison school episode, but they didn't do that, and I'm glad that they kept it pretty much straight to what it was going for. Absurdity or not, this is good quality, and that deserves to be commended, especially in a time period when anime wasn't exactly as world-renowned as it was going to be. It was on the cusp of becoming that. The bubble was just developing at the time period, and this is the result we got of that. So thank you very much, Amon. Now I can finally cross this one off of my anime list.
I hope it was number 420.
You know what? Why don't you go ahead and say your thoughts, Amon? I will look up and see what number this was.
Alright then. I enjoy this show and I enjoy this dub a lot. It appeals most to the part of me that likes weird, oddball, very specific comedy, and also appeals to the part of me that likes stuff that is very much of a specific time and place, like 40s noir movies and 70s exploitation movies. Like, this is the most 2000... Like, if you want to know, like, what's anime like in 2004 or 2005, this will give you a very good idea of what you're in for. I find it very entertaining. If you're interested, I'd recommend kind of watch the first episode. If you find something there that you enjoy, keep going. If not, it's not going to get any better from here. Jump ship now while you still can. You will have the advantage. The episodes are very short. They're only 11 minutes each.
Yeah, you will breeze through watching this.
It's very easy to just marathon this by accident.
It might be a bad accident if you're not careful and you're not into it.
Very possible.
Okay, so I've looked it up, and this was the 361st anime I completed, according to this list.
Damn.
And the 4,285th episode, because when you add all 26 episodes here. That is not a significant number by any stretch of the imagination, but holy shit, I've watched a lot of cartoons in my life.
Yes, you have.
How many have you watched?
Man, and I'm gonna make you add like 2 seasons of a show that I'm not gonna say because I don't want to ruin that OVA episode.
Oh, boy. Oh wait, no, I know. Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah, no, you're probably gonna watch the 3rd season of that fucking show afterwards. You just finish the damn thing.
But that's for another time.
That is, and for that, I think we can wrap up this. We can graduate. Can we finally graduate from Cromar?
No, because I'm on something.
Ah, damn it.
No, I'm done.
Are you sure?
I like this show. It's good.
I'm so sorry.
It sits there on the shelf of things Amon likes with like Fireside Theater records and other bullshit that only I care about.
What is that? What is?
They were an audio comedy team from the 60s. I know about them because my dad liked them.
Okay.
Me and my dad are the only people I know who've heard of this group.
I remember you asked me once, like, Noah, how have you heard of, like, these really obscure Soviet cartoons? I gotta flip this around. How have you heard of these audio comedians from the 60s?
My dad.
Amon!
I know about a lot of things from my dad.
Fair enough.
Amon, you might be, like, the... Oh, sorry.
Loud.
Okay, sorry. My girlfriend's telling me I'm loud. Anyways, I just wanted to say you might be the greatest hipster man I've ever met, and I love you.
I love you, man.
Major props to you.
You're all very kind.
Like, honestly, like, we don't say it a lot, but, like, some of my most cherished memories are just fucking hanging out with you.
Oh.
Like, you are the man who walked me to a closed bar in some 30-degree weather
Never let that
without
go.
a coat and improper shoes.
And that is the worst thing I'll ever do to you.
That is like that is our fucking that's our fucking blood bond.
The bar that was never there.
The bar. My favorite part about that story is I was so tired and so weak from walking because I'm out of shape. As I round the corner, I just hear Prof go, "She's gonna be pissed."
But yeah, no.
But like that, like go into the fucking hole-in-the-wall stoner joint around the corner from your mom's place, learning how one of your relatives pissed off the Nixon administration.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a cool story.
Oh, good times.
I fucking love you, man.
Man, I hope
Like-
that you have have like 2 more batches of 31 years in you, because I hope they're as good as the last 31.
Amon, the next time I'm allowed to legally hug you, I will continue to legally hug you.
Yeah, man.
Aw, you're sweet.
Also,
Amon, all I know is this: my boyfriend and I are gonna have to fight each other with a switchblade to determine which end of the wedding party you get into.
Also, if Amon, if you're
This has been a legitimate discussion between us.
so Just do a whole, like, sitcom thing. Just tape him down the middle and just do that.
I hope
No, we're not gonna fucking tear him down the middle. That's awful. How about deserves better than that?
You guys are overlooking the fact that he is clearly going to be the DJ at the wedding. That he is going to be back there, not with a record scratch machine, but like a phonograph, like giant ass vinyls and a phonograph with it hand cranking the music as you come down the aisle. But it's not going to be God Save the Queen or whatever crap music that you want for your wedding. No, it's going to be like obscure stuff from the 1400s.
The 1400s.
Yes, they had vinyls in the 1400s. They never told you about that in school. I can't wait to see that playlist.
Oh boy.
It's gonna be chiseled in stone. I hope you all enjoyed this podcast.
I love you, man.
Y'all are great.
So are
If
you.
you would like,
Andrew's fucking dead.
if you would like to hear more of us, you can find us on YouTube, which is where you're likely listening to us at Dub Talk Podcast. You can also find us on Podbean if you're into the audio only kind of a thing. Also a Dub Talk Podcast. You can also find us at Dub Talk Podcast on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. We're technically on Tumblr, but we don't use it because Tumblr's kind of a wasteland these days.
We can't use Tumblr. 3 of us have female presenting nipples.
It's true. All of you, tell the nice people where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me at Queenera2 on Twitter. I shit post and talk about. I'm sorry, I'm still dying at Andrew fucking dying of the phonograph.
Speaking of which, hi. My name's Andrew, aka Classy Spartan. You can find me on Twitter at MangaMan9000. My other podcast joint is I am one of the guest commentators on Podcast O&A on Surreal Resolution alongside fellow Dub Talk co-host Jet. Oh god, my stomach hurts. Fuck.
Fetish porn,
Sorry.
blood pack. Fetish porn, blood pack.
Also,
Fetish
she's
porn,
not on
blood
this episode,
pack.
but that's
Fetish porn,
Stephanie,
blood
aka
pack.
Lilac Anime
Fetish
Review,
porn,
aka
blood
my
pack.
girlfriend who I love and
Porn,
appreciate
pack.
very, very much.
Happy birthday,
Keep it up,
Emma.
just keep-
Love you, dude.
Megan, did you have to use the Maki gift
porn,
for
blood pack.
fetish porn?
blood.
Fetish born pud blacked. I can't talk anymore.
Fetish porn, blood pack. Fetish porn, blood pack. Fetish porn, blood pack.
For reference, people, it is 1 a.m. EST, and we are humans. We are not robots. To wrap this up, except for you, I am Noah Clue, and you can follow me on Twitter at Noah Clue, where I post content, not content, but discussions about the animation world, such as the fact that Trolls World Tour apparently had a very good streaming-only numbers, and we will probably be shifting over to movie premieres, just doing away with theaters altogether, so look forward to that in the future. I also have a YouTube
I think they just could. Oh, sorry.
you can follow me on YouTube at Journey Traveler, where further content on animation history and deep discussions on the world of cartoons may be coming with the limited free time that I have. You were saying, Andrew.
I was gonna say, I think they actually straight up confirmed the new Scoob movie is straight up like skipping theaters now and
Yep,
going straight to
they
digital.
did. And that's a different studio. DreamWorks is distributed by Paramount, I think, and Warner Brothers is its own distribution arm. So, yes, we may see all new movies just coming straight to your living room.
Mm-hmm. Weird
The worst
time.
news I've ever heard. I like going to theaters. I'm sorry.
I do too. I hope to go
Just
back
to-
there someday.
I do like theaters too, but just think of this, Amon. The final last Evangelion movie finally coming to your own living room. Just
Oh, that's
picture
never
that.
happening.
The fuck Kihara's letting that happen.
It's a true fact. Megan, did you say where you are on the internet?
Currently I'm probably in Twitter jail for chanting fetish porn blood pack.
Yes, you are.
I'm gonna be like fucking Popko, arrested for Twitter crimes.
The best crimes to be arrested for. It's good people in those critter jails. Before I talk about myself, we have a Patreon. It's Dub Talk, the Patreon.
I am so sorry to all of our Patreons.
I'm not. You know what you signed up for.
Why?
Um,
This is what they're
if you
here for.
you can sign up and give us a little bit of money, and we can help make a better product for you. It's a fun time. And if you do sign up, you can get your name read off on an episode like we're about to do now. Thank you to our $5 patrons: B. Morris, Crimson Echidna, Michelle Travis, Miraculous Corazon, Nico Robin but with Yowie hands, and thank you to our 10-tier listeners: Carly Lesticow, Jacob Wilson, J2 aka Jared, Julia W, and Marissa Lenti. You're a great bunch. If you want to find me on the internet, I'm at Amon Duel US on Twitter. Duel has 2 U's in it. That's fun. I talk about a lot of things. I talk about music. I have dusty old songs. So, fun fact about Cromartie. I don't know if this is on the Discotheque release, which is where you can currently get it. It's also streaming on Crunchyroll. But if you got the old ADV release, the covers to the volumes were basically parodies of famous album covers. So I'm going to recommend you a song from each album cover they're pairing, because there are 4 of them. The first one, which you may have seen some of the promotional materials, is kind of like the Queen 4-person diamond from the Bohemian Rhapsody video. But that first shows up as the cover to Queen 2. I'm going to recommend the song Ogre Battle, because Queen used to be a lot nerdier than you would expect. The second one is a bunch of them looking over a balcony. That's the parody of Please Please Me, the Beatles' first album. I'm going to recommend the title track, which is a good one. The third one is this weird image of Mekazawa on a swing, and he's like kicking a high heel shoe off. That's a parody of the album Sailing Shoes by Little Feat, where instead of Mekasawa, it's a cake woman. It's a weird-looking album cover. I'm going to recommend the title track by that, a George Lowe classic. And the last one, which the people on the call here will know because it was the avatar for our the little discussion chat we had organizing this, is basically a bunch of the characters in sort of this Mount Rushmore formation, and that's a parody of Deep Purple in Rock by Deep Purple. I'm going to recommend Speed King, a song that will make your brain melt. So, with that, thank you for listening to us.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much.
Let's get some sleep.
15
I'm
years
ready
in
to get
the
some
making.
sleep. Anyways.
Lullaby and good night. Go to sleep, little children.
Happy
Straight
birthday,
into
Amon.
The body.
Thank you.
Happy
of a
birthday.
man turned into a stuffed animal.
Happy birthday, scumbag.
Happy birthday.
Have some banana
Happy
sushi.
birthday,
Do not call
Have-
Amon a
happy
scumbag.
birthday,
He is a
skeleton
wonderful
man.
human being.
Rock on Boston, rock on Cleveland.
And
Rock
as
on
always,
Chicago.
aloha and otaku on, my friends.
Mekareka.
Fetish porn, blood packed.
Oh no.
God damn it.
Mekareka.
Good night, nerds.